This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
If you want to view family films, Baconsale will tell you which two. Is it Lion King or Shrek 2? If you can't decide, well, hey, we've got you.
Shrek 2.
I know, it's not on there, but it rhymed. It rhymed, okay? Leave it alone.
Yeah. But welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zach.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our Christmas party episode.
It was a fun party that we had on the episode.
People had a lot of opinions, right?
A lot of opinions.
Yeah.
There was a big old Twitter thread that I read most of. That was kind of fun. Joe Belliston said, headed to Joel's party for Buddy, Clark, Kevin, Riggs, and Murtaugh. Sorry, Kent.
Yeah, rude.
There were some good specific choices that Joel made.
Yeah.
Just too many kids. Too many kids here.
Too many kids, and apparently you put people to work.
No, that's everyone
The
kept saying.
conductor's here to organize the party.
Sam made a comment.
No, everyone kept saying it seems like everyone you invite to your party, you put to work.
Yeah.
And I said, no, just the celebrities. You regular folk don't have to do anything.
Okay, good. So we could come to your party and not have to work.
Well, I don't know if you can, Kent.
I'm a celebrity?
You have your rival party.
Oh,
that I'm apparently
yeah.
sabotaging.
Yes.
Star Wars expert Kyler said, Kent's party definitely sounds more fun, but Joel's is unquestionably safer.
Yeah, it is safer.
I have Krampus at my party.
Oh, yeah. People are being cursed.
Still safer.
Yeah.
Still safer. And then Honey Mustard said, the amount of giggling that happens in this episode is my favorite.
Well, I think the giggling is fun.
I'll say.
Inside jokes on Baconsale.
Yes, but we had a good time at our parties, and we enjoy when you give us your feedback on the social media channels. We do enjoy that.
It is fun.
We also want to let you know that next week is our season 9 finale. We're going to be taking a break after next week's episode.
Series finale?
Zach, is that episode 500 yet?
episodes. Ugh.
Stop! I don't like that joke. We just prepare for that. Next week we're going to take a break for a few weeks.
Wait, what episode
kind
are
of
we
figure
at?
out what we're doing again.
Stop it.
We're getting close.
Stop it.
But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
We're talking about family films.
At long last. We're so sorry, everyone, but also you're welcome. I don't know if everyone enjoys the brackets that we do, but this whole year has been dedicated to the of brackets.
Yeah,
it's
bag
the
of bags.
action movie of action movies. It's the comedy of comedies.
The drama
thriller
of dramas. The thriller of thrillers.
And we've got your help. Every suggestion in these brackets this entire year has been your fault.
Yes, if you,
I mean, you're doing.
If you haven't been following us on social media, you've been missing out on an opportunity to vote in these because we put it out there. We let people vote. We then whittle it down.
Yeah.
Which we did. We whittled this down to 32 projected movies.
And this episode is about family films?
Family films.
What does that mean?
Well, that's the weird thing is normally at this point I would give some sort of history of the genre.
Yeah.
But family films are kind of all over the place. Some are dramas, some are comedies,
Some are just Disney cartoons?
some are graphic horror movies.
Right.
There
Depending
is
on the
definitely
family.
the biggest blend of genres in these.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say, generally speaking, though, if I was to throw out a genre, it's like adventure. There's a lot of adventure family movies.
I could see
Okay.
adventure musical.
Yeah.
A lot of musicals in this
could
one
work.
as well. But that's just it. Is these are movies that are going to be accessible for the entire family. Now, what does that mean?
Theoretically.
Which family are you talking about? I think it depends on your family because some people may sit down and watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre together
Kent's
with their
Yeah.
entire family.
Yeah, they're all over that.
But we ask that you play along with us. Go to baconsale.com. Find this episode, the Family Film of Family Films episode, and look for the bracket. You can download it and then share it amongst your coworkers or families or friends, and then just argue about which is the Family Film of Family Films with your own family.
Where's your stress level at, guys?
Oh, it's extremely high.
Hi.
Because
Okay, but
for
why?
the first time,
Because these are
for the
just-
first time in this bracket, I've seen these movies
These are just charming movies. Why would we need to fight about charming movies?
because these are our childhood.
These are our childhood. I was going to say that. These are movies from our childhood or
And the
movies that
listener.
make us feel like a child. We got these submissions from you, the listener, and then these are organized on the bracket in order of box office performance. As counseled by our Bacon Council, they decided that box office would be the king.
we
of
let them
figuring out which-
choose, and I feel like they chose poorly. I feel
You were voting for
I
box
know,
office
but I
before.
feel like I led them to the wrong holy grail. I think this is a mistake. We should have gone by IMDb. But guess what? This is going to hurt no matter what.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
There was
the
no good
biggest,
choice.
And the reason I'm saying it's just going to be so hard because there's a full quadrant that has amazing movies that Joel and I may love, and we're only going to have one winner in that quadrant.
Ugh,
Crazy.
I have darlings circled in every quadrant.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay, guys.
Yeah.
No, literally when I
Much
when
like
I
all these
posted
movies,
this,
it turns out happy in the end.
when I posted this bracket out to you guys, I literally announced my retirement from Baconsale in episode 501.
I hate that joke.
Fine, I'm going off on 502. I lasted longer than Joel.
No, I have the edge because I have the earlier years.
Nobody listens to those anymore.
Please don't. Okay, should we just get started?
Yes, let's jump into this. We're going to look at the bracket. Once again, you can find it at baconsale.com. We're going to have 2 movies pitted against each other. We're going to try to vote for which
2 out of 3 are a clean sweep.
Which one is the family film of family films? What does that mean, by the way? You know, whether it's the whole family can enjoy it of all ages, or whether it's non-offensive.
I think it's arbitrary based on whatever argument we need to make that time.
I love that.
Baconsale.
Baconsale. No, I have a couple of different scales that I'm working off of, and I kind of explained this to you.
Literally, he's standing on 2 scales right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Why is one heavier? So I kind of think on movie night, right? Joel, you talked about you have pizza movie night with your family. I think that's great. So I think, would this movie work for a movie night? If I picked it, would my kids be mad? If my kids picked it, would I be mad?
But this is like if your kids don't have their cell phone or iPad and they actually watch a movie.
Yes.
Kids are punks.
Yeah,
love you, girls.
And then I also, my wife kind of threw out there, would these be movies that your kids would watch by themselves?
Yeah.
Would you watch them without your kids? Maybe you'd feel a little guilty. You know, Joel and I have talked about that before, about feeling guilty watching shows without our kids.
As I was doing the research for this episode, I'd throw on a bunch of movies and I was like, my kids should be watching this with me.
But I do think there might be some on this list that you go, I really wouldn't watch it without the kids.
Or
and that maybe that goes in against
But there's
it.
also some that you watch on this list and you're like, whew, I forgot how much was in this. I don't know if I would watch this with my kids right now.
All right, let's get started.
Let's do it.
First up, we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
An orphan boy enrolls in the School of Wizardry, where he learns the truth about himself, his family, and the terrible evil that haunts the magical world.
This is directed by Chris Columbus, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, whoever they are in 2001.
I bet you've never heard of this movie.
Yeah,
or
weird.
franchise ever.
That's the other thing. I don't think explanations are going to be absolutely necessary, but it's just how we do things to set the stage for with these 2 movies.
Just in case you don't know.
Baconsale is a presentational program.
I'm shocked by sometimes when I tell people, oh yeah, this movie that everyone's seen, they're like, I haven't seen it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You already got mad at me tonight for something like that.
I wouldn't say mad, just disappointed.
Disappointed, yeah. And then Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Wait, what? I hate this matchup.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, stop it.
Sorry,
Stop
tell me
it.
about the
Yeah,
movie.
that's going to happen
Tell me
though.
about the movie.
This is the and the matchup.
Tim Burton's Willy Wonka.
No, it is not. That's Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Timothy Chalamet's Wonka.
No, this is
Come on.
not that.
A poor but hopeful boy seeks one of the 5 coveted golden tickets that will send him on a tour of Willy Wonka's mysterious chocolate factory.
This came out in 1971. You got Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka and then a bunch of other people.
Rated G.
Okay.
Yes.
I need to be very clear. I like the Tim Burton one, too.
I know you do. I think you prefer it, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, so I'm going to give some pros for Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you are.
We're in America.
It's an introduction to many good movie nights. This is just the beginning of a series that kids have probably read the book, whether in school or just for fun.
All but one good movie night, yes.
Which one is the worst?
Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, yeah, it's not good.
Not good.
Yeah.
It's not a particularly good book either.
Movie 4? Also not very good. Oh. Yeah, no, watch it again. Watch again, it's too rushed.
Anyways. They had to condense. Guys, let's focus on this.
Okay, but I think...
But they're shaggy hair, though.
But to be like, hey, kids, we're going to have 8 movie nights based on this, like, that's pretty cool, right?
fun. It's a fun little journey.
That's
that
a
you can
commitment,
go on.
though.
Yeah.
But you don't need to, because this
okay.
is the first one. And I do think of the series, this is the only one that you could just watch this one.
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily need additional context because you're getting introduced to the world just like Harry is.
Yeah, except for Voldemort gets away.
But he still defeats the villain, so you do have some
2 hours and 32
True.
minutes. So it's a long movie.
Oh, this is a long movie. Longer than I remembered.
It introduced the many Americans to the happy Christmas term.
Oh, yeah?
Which I still say to this
And
day.
the Philosopher's Stone.
And then Willy Wonka is an hour and 40 minutes.
I will
Crazy.
dispute that. I think
Breezy.
it's less than that because we all fast forward through the song that Charlie's mom sings.
Oh,
So it's less than that.
You're right.
Oh, poor Charlie's mom, because literally, I think
Just
every single
be
kid is like,
You're you.
Fast
Well,
forward
we
that.
know all of the words because it haunts our dreams.
Now, I want to ask you guys questions because each of these movies, maybe not each, but many of these movies have scary parts. And these 2 movies in specific have kind of thrilling parts.
I was traumatized by Augustus Gloop almost drowning.
Oh,
traumatized.
That's the part.
That's the
That's
part.
the part
It's
that
not
got
the
me
boat
as a
ride?
kid.
Not the scary
Nope.
chicken head tunnel.
It was Augustus Gloop almost drowning. To put a kid in mortal danger in front of me, I was like, wait, we're in the candy room.
Is that good to have in a family movie?
I think
Just the right amount of thrills?
No, honestly, look at all these family films. Almost every single one of them introduces a concept of fear.
Yeah.
There is something in there. It gets a little tamer as they get older, but there's some reason to scare kids in almost every single one of
I
the
think it
movies.
holds children's attention.
It does, and it teaches them how to deal with that kind of stress.
Well,
So there's a phenomenon versus a movie we all watched in school that honestly is just it's a merchandising movie. They created Wonka chocolate based on...
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nerds
Why
are
are you
Wonka products.
downplaying Willy Wonka so much?
But that's the history of it.
Gene Wilder, though.
Gene
No, he's
Wilder.
freaking amazing.
There's nothing as good as Gene Wilder.
He is so nice
in Harry
and
Potter.
scary at the same time.
Yeah. But did we get his humor as kids? Did we understand really what he was doing in the role?
Surprisingly, I found this movie more funny as I grew up as an adult.
Of course you did.
That part when the woman negotiates her husband's life for a box of Wonka
How long are they
bars,
going to get me to think about it?
I crack up every single time.
I think that there is for lack of a better term, there is a magic to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone specifically that cannot be denied. I think even compared to the rest of the series, which I know that's not what we're going for here, this is the childlike wonder of the franchise.
It is, yeah.
I love that this was directed by Christopher Columbus. He brought
Chris Columbus.
Sorry, Chris Columbus. But he brought that magical touch to it, right?
He did.
He
makes really whimsical, light movies.
whimsical, and it gets
And
darker.
the book is.
And it's better for it darker down the line. But this early one, fun.
But I'm going to bring this a button here.
Family friendly.
Put it
Yes, because Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I love it. I love. Let's just blanket statement. I love all these movies.
I think they're good.
But Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is one where I know that's a bridge some people have to cross, is that element of fantasy. Some may be put off by the occult nature of it.
Sure.
And so the family, we're not going with the best film of films. Remember, we're going for the family film of family films. I think Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone might be a harder pill to swallow for some families.
Than kids going on a tour
than
and
Willy Wonka
potentially
and the Chocolate
dying?
Factory. I'm just saying.
Are you going for nostalgia, though?
The death is implied. For the record.
Thank you.
We have to go fast on these. We have so many to get through.
But the death in Harry Potter is apparent. It actually happens. You have to
does.
see it.
Two
Yeah.
parents, actually.
no.
Yeah.
Wow. No, literally at the
I think I actually really shocked Zach. Are you okay?
Having just watched Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone with my son, who's just finished the books, or finished a couple of the books.
Sure.
He's 9 years old. And that part when Professor Quirrell and he puts his hands on his face and he starts disintegrating, that was a little much.
Sure.
A little much.
I think you have a wider appeal with Willy Wonka. I think the movie is 71.
Yes, 71.
It came out in 71. It still holds up great. I've watched this recently with my family.
There's a little 40 years apart.
It's colorful for the very young kids, though they probably, I mean, again, they sporadically enjoy anything. But I
30 years apart.
I think that there's a stronger argument for Willy Wonka. I think I'm going to vote Willy
Joel,
Wonka.
do you agree? I think you agree.
I'm having a hard time because I like these both, but I brought up that point because that was one of the things I thought of. Like, I know some people are like, I don't really care for Harry Potter. I don't really care for
Yeah, no, I
wizardry.
get it.
But a kid's going into a candy factory, that's appealing to everyone. And I'm thinking for kids and adults, Willy Wonka has that humor the adults will get more. And
I agree.
then Harry Potter is primarily for kids. If a parent has not read the books, there's going to be an issue there.
It's for millennial parents.
Can I give the pity vote then to Harry Potter?
Please.
Yeah, I would like to give the pity vote because I think they are necessary movies, whereas I don't think it's necessary that kids watch Willy Wonka. I think they'll enjoy it more.
I think Willy Wonka should be a part of most children's
it
childhood.
should be, but people will watch Harry Potter.
But I think Harry Potter is, man, has there been a better book adaptation of or film adaptation of a book series?
Yep, Willy Wonka.
No, actually,
Series.
the author would disagree.
Series.
With that, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory slays a giant with Harry Potter.
Let's move quicker.
Slays a
Okay,
troll.
moving on.
I've got a perfect puzzle for you.
Moving on, we have Jumanji.
When two kids find and play a magical board game, they release a man trapped in it for decades and a host of dangers that can only be stopped by finishing the game.
Was released in 1995, starring Robin Williams and Kirsten Dunst and Bonnie Hunt.
And I want to say this is directed by Joe Johnson, who directed
Yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and The Rocketeer
Yeah.
and Captain America.
Right.
Which seems like a
What?
weird movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first Captain America. But
He's like a low-budget Chris Columbus.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
a lot of good movies in there.
And then we have Paddington 2.
Paddington, now happily settled with the Brown family and a popular member of the local community, picks up a series of odd jobs to buy the perfect present for his Aunt Lucy's 100th birthday, only for the gift to be stolen.
What? But Ben Winshaw is the voice of Paddington here.
Wishaw?
Then you have Wishaw. And then you have Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Brendan Gleeson, a lot of people here. Hugh
Grant.
Peter Capaldi. And this came out in 2017. So Jumanji versus Paddington 2. These are it's weird. These both feel like kind of newcomers to the game when they're not.
Jumanji's
Jumanji's been around
96?
forever. 95.
95.
Been around for a long time.
Still holds up with the CGI and stuff, too. Pretty well.
Jumanji?
Except for the
Monkey
monkeys.
face?
The monkeys are the weird one.
Death rattle facts for Jumanji.
Oh, wow.
I think it's a little
Really?
too intense for kids. And I loved it as a kid, but it also came out when I was 14, so I could handle it. I think it's a little scary.
It's a lot of Robin Williams
It's only rated
yelling.
PG. It's rated PG for menacing fantasy action and some mild language.
But I think it's a good family movie because it's about kids dealing with consequences and also kind of the fear of adults or authority.
When Peter turns into a wolf or whatever, a
Yeah.
monkey. What does he turn
Or
into?
even getting stuck in a
monkey,
game,
I
and then the kid's dad being the representation of the hunter as well. There's a lot to this movie
Yeah.
that I don't know if people are really going to grasp, but it's going up against Paddington 2.
Wow. What about the Lilith Crane? Telling the kids that her parents are dead.
Yeah.
That's just such good family stuff.
So that's my vote, is Paddington 2.
Your vote is Paddington 2. I'm going to vote for Jumanji.
Oh.
Why?
I'm voting for Jumanji because when I think of films that have made a huge impression, I feel like we're still trying to convince people of how good Paddington 2 is because people haven't seen it. I think
We're just bearing our testimony of it because it's that
and
true.
I think Paddington 1
that's not fair because this Jumanji was a summer blockbuster.
right, and Paddington 2 was not.
a sleeper hit.
Also, point of order.
Go on.
I may like Paddington 1 more than Paddington 2. That's not
You're comparing.
It's the Godfather 2 situation here, Ken. You can go either way, and I'm fine. But I'm just saying, I think I like Paddington 1 more than Paddington 2. And I just barely watched Paddington 2 today. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But Jumanji has embedded itself in my childhood mind. And my kids have watched it as well, and they have talked about it. The other day, we were walking past one of those kiosks in the mall, and there was a Jumanji game, and they were like, "Oh, is that going to be like the kind of like thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's exactly like the movie."
Yeah.
But
Zach, break this.
I'm shocked by the Paddington comment, but I'll do you one better. I think I might like Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle better than Jumanji.
Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is highly entertaining.
I love it.
I just don't think it's as a classic. I thought you were going to say you like Zathura more,
yes.
which I do like Zathura.
Stay on task.
Right. So I'm voting for Jumanji. He's voting for Paddington.
Paddington 2 moves on.
All right.
Oh, just like that?
Oh, no question.
Just like that?
It's Paddington 2.
I can hear the drums.
ILM developed 2 new software programs specifically for Jumanji. Groundbreaking.
One is Paddington 2. All right, Paddington 2 moves on.
I'm sorry. I'm finding this a very stressful working environment. Aunt Lucy said...
Aunt Lucy. I've had it up to here with Aunt Lucy.
Now we have Home Alone.
An 8-year-old troublemaker mistakenly left home alone. Hey, that's the title of the movie. Must defend his home alone against a pair of burglars on Christmas Eve.
Was released in 1990, directed by Chris Columbus.
Again?
Starring
Already?
Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern.
In 1990, and Chris Columbus again. So that's
Yeah.
Harry Potter and this one so far.
Moneymaker.
And The Land Before Time.
An orphan brontosaurus teams up with other young dinosaurs in order to reunite with their families in a vallay.
And this is directed by Don Bluth, who did everything from your nightmares as a childhood.
Oh, and your heart.
Secret of Nim, An American Tale, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Came out in 1988. By the way, our shortest runtime, 69 minutes.
What?
Nice.
Land Before Time is like barely over an hour, and it's because Steven Spielberg kept saying, cut it down. Cut it down.
Really?
Because he thought Don Bluth was making it too scary. He says, you're going to have kids crying in the theater.
I don't know
Cut it
what I
down.
like more. Is it the movie, the song that makes me cry, or the Pizza Hut characters? The puppets that I used to get for reading books.
Yeah? Okay.
Probably the puppets.
Okay.
Littlefoot.
Hot
Petrie,
take.
Sarah.
Hot take from me.
Go on.
Land Before Time was a movie I should have left in my childhood.
Yep.
Did you rewatch it?
I did.
How dare you?
Watching it as an adult.
No, but
I've only ever watched-
It is the thinnest story
But did
you've
you
ever
cry?
seen. It is.
Did you cry?
The story is stretched thinner than the skin over those extinct dinosaurs' bones.
Did you cry though?
No.
If we hold on.
Just watch that clip. That's it.
Yes. If it weren't for the adorable voice acting, this
or
movie
is it
would-
grating?
this
There's some
would-
grating voice acting.
This movie
here.
would have been unwatchable.
Okay.
Because it's also interesting animation. They have some good animation here. And there's 13
that Bluth
sequels.
guy's pretty good.
13 direct-to-video sequels.
Which actually I think makes the franchise worse.
I've seen 0 of them. Not a single one.
Of the sequels or
I mean, I've seen Land Before Time. I
Okay.
never saw a sequel.
It is one that I loved as a kid, but watching it again as an adult, I was like, no. And then I watch Home Alone every year. I absolutely love it. I'm voting for Home Alone.
Looking to the test that I talked about earlier, I mean, if my kids picked this for movie night, I would be on my phone the entire time. No question. I would not watch this movie.
Clean sweep.
Home Alone moves on.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
Now we have How to Train Your Dragon.
A hapless young Viking who aspires to hunt dragons becomes the unlikely friend of a young dragon himself and learns there may be more to the creatures than he assumed.
Was released in 2010 and it stars Jay Baruchel and Gerard Butler.
And Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
A popular high school student, admired by his peers, decides to take a day off from school, roll credits, and goes to extreme lengths to pull it off, to the chagrin of the principal who'll do anything to stop him.
Directed by John Hughes, who did a bunch of stuff. We should do a whole show about John Hughes. And starring Matthew Broderick, Alan Ruck, Jennifer Grey, and Jeffrey Jones.
Now, we all love Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Love it.
Okay.
Not showing it to the kids.
PG-13.
Okay. But also, I don't think my kids would like it.
But growing up as a kid, I watched the TV edit so many times.
When you say kid,
Kid. Like I don't know when this came out. 86. I probably was watching it.
I feel like 14 and up. This is super. Maybe even 13 and up. You're a teenager. Very enjoyable.
Clearly, I didn't even know what swear words were till I was 13 because I watched the normal version and it didn't faze me because I didn't know what they were.
I just love the TV edit because it says things like, "I feel like total crud, Ferris. Can't go anywhere." Like you hear the voice change in
this.
The edits.
Has 0.7 swears per minute, and it even has the R-rated swear word.
It does.
It's a little heavy.
did not know that until I bought the DVD. And I was like, what?
So it's a great film. We know this. It's so fun to watch. It's just not a family movie.
It is a family movie if your family is teenagers and high school kids. But even then, I don't know. Between the two of them, okay. Well, here's the thing.
How to Train Your Dragon is absolutely delightful.
You two are going to vote for How to Train Your Dragon.
100%.
If we're family movie night, if I pick Ferris Bueller, my kids are going to walk away halfway through. If they get that far.
I actually did show my kids Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Clear Play on our pizza movie night. They loved it.
Really?
Yeah. I know it's not going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my pity vote to Ferris Bueller's Day Off just because it's one of my favorite. It's one of my like top 5 favorite.
Yeah,
movies.
you are the most PG-13 member of this podcast. So
blink, yeah.
TV edited.
And How to Train Your Dragon moves on.
If you ever want to get out there to fight dragons, you need to stop all this.
What, you just pointed to all of me?
Yes.
Ah! Now we have E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial.
A troubled child summons the courage to help a friendly alien escape Earth and return to his home planet.
Released in 1982. So are you okay?
I just saw what this matchup
Directed
was.
by Steven Spielberg, starring Drew Barrymore and Henry Thomas.
And The Princess Bride.
A bedridden boy's grandfather reads him the story of a farm boy turned pirate who encounters numerous obstacles, enemies, and allies in his quest to be reunited with his true love.
This is directed by Rob Reiner and stars Carrie Elwes, Robin Wright, Mandy Patinkin, Chris Sarandon.
An all-time classic, E.T. We mentioned this in our top 10 movies of all time list. And The Princess Bride, which is attempted to make an appearance on every single bracket show we've done.
Because it's a genre-less movie.
It is.
You cannot.
No, it's not genre less. It's genre full. Like it's every genre.
It crosses over into all of them. I'll tell you what. E.T. is a one. I wouldn't say grow up with this movie. I didn't see it until I was maybe 15, 16. I think it's strangely boring.
What?
I never really connected too much with it. I think it's got like the height moments of this show are great, but overall I find this one to be a kind of a slow, dull 80s family movie.
What?
I don't really well made though.
So
might
good.
be a little boring, but it's very well made.
Oh man, it gets nearly everything right. Like honestly, every time I watch E.T., I'm emotional, and
I think there's a sense of discovery and wonder in E.T.
I think it might be John Williams' best score. Because it doesn't sound like the rest of them. Kent.
Well, it's a Jurassic Park called. Oh, yep.
Okay, Jurassic Park's the best one.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Life finds a way.
This is an impossible choice.
We haven't mentioned Princess Bride. It can be a little heavy at times, like the torture scene. I think is like as a kid, you're like,
I still think
but it's kid-friendly torture.
It toes the line where.
Hold on. That's a quotable quote.
I'm just saying it's not gory. It's not. It's all kind of mental.
You're losing years of your life.
I think it toes the line
blood.
of being funny, though.
Oh yes,
I've just taken 1 year of your life away. How do you feel?
That was so scary to me.
I found it
not
somewhat
to 50.
humorous.
Oh man, I don't think they make movies like Princess Bride anymore. In fact, I don't know if they ever made movies like Princess Bride before it, because it's one of a kind. It's just so original, so good.
I think about my 8-year-old stepson.
Yeah.
I know he would like the sword fighting. I know he would like the rhyming joke. You know,
everybody got a peanut,
right? I know.
Would he care
he'd
for the
like that
romance?
stuff. I think he might tune out a little bit of the
It's a
romance.
kissing story. They make fun of it.
But that what they do, I think, as soon as they might be like bored with that, it literally a kid cuts in who's bored with it.
Yeah.
I think it's super clever.
And that see, that's the problem too. Is Princess Bride? You have Fred Savage being the kid that the kids can relate to.
Whatever his name was in Wonder Years.
E.T., you have Elliot, that kid. Most of the adults are like shot from the waist down, like a Charlie Brown style thing. Like,
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, it's like the kids are the stars. And
A cute little Drew Barrymore. Oh, she was adorable.
Joel, what are you going to vote for?
I don't know.
Zach, you go first.
I'm going to vote for Princess Bride. I like E.T. I think it's classic Spielberg magic movie making, but of his work specifically, of these kind of 80s movies, I don't go back to it. I will watch Princess Bride right now.
Make it easier for you. It's Princess Bride, Joel.
Okay. E.T. was a childhood phenomenon, like for our childhood. But I admit, maybe people don't know him as much anymore.
Yeah.
Not that that's like part of the genre. We're looking at the family film of family films. But I think there are some slower parts.
We got it when it was released on DVD.
E.T..
My younger brother would watch it, and all of us would kind of roll our eyes, going, I guess.
I'm giving the pity vote to E.T. because I think it deserves a vote.
It's a great film.
It's a fantastic film. If you have not seen E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, do yourself a favor and watch it.
It's fine. The Princess Bride moves on.
No more rhymes now, I mean it.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah!
Now we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Miles Morales becomes the Spider-Man of his universe and must join with 5 spider-powered individuals from other dimensions to stop a threat for all realities.
And The Goonies.
A group of misfits discover an ancient map and set out on an adventure to find a legendary pirate's long-lost treasure.
Directed by Richard Donner, who created the most Christmas movie of all time, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, right.
It's not most Christmas of all time. It's more Christmas than Die
Did he do
Hard.
the first or the second Superman?
He did 1 and 2.
Well,
Richard Lester did.
halfway through 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, save for our Superman show. We should do that.
Of
All
course
the
we
Superman
should.
movies?
Yeah.
Why haven't we done all Superman, all Batman movies yet?
We will fight.
Superman
That's why.
Yeah.
Superman Legacy.
Starring Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman,
So
Kwan.
I'm going to go against maybe my Ferris Bueller marks because there's 15 S words in the Goonies.
Particularly
fact.
from one character.
Yeah, absolutely.
We watched Goonies all the time
time.
as kids. And then we were watching it at a friend's house, and his mom walked in, and she was like, "What is this?" And it was right at the scene where they break the statue and have to glue things back on, and she turned it off. And we were like, "Oh, I guess that is offensive."
That's such a small issue.
Family friendly.
Not a week goes by that I don't think of Shame, Shame, I Know Your Name. It's a bit suggestive. I think Goonies is suggestive, but I think as a kid you don't really catch on, and that's okay. It's not like Ferris Bueller where it is dropping so many swear words.
I am going to say something very weird. I think these two movies are oddly well matched because they both have a sort of a frenetic energy to them. They're both chaotic.
Yeah.
To the point where my wife and I tried to watch Into the Spider-Verse and she wasn't feeling 100%. We got about 20 minutes into it and she asked to turn it off. Like,
because there's so much happening.
Because it's so in your face. But I also feel the same way with Goonies. The dialogue in this is a mess. Like the kids are constantly yelling talking over each other. It's not it is technically speaking more realistic, but it is so much harder to follow.
There's a reason that they have polished dialogue in movies because regular conversations can be annoying. But let's talk about Spider-Man at the Spider-Verse, which may be, I believe, my most recent 5-star movie in 2018.
I think pulling it back, I think Spider-Man is the most accessible family hero. And I think making it animated makes it even more of a family movie.
And this movie, I don't know if you guys remember, this movie came out at a time when we didn't need another Spider-Man movie.
Didn't. No.
And so it was like, it's just been rebooted multiple times. Why do we need this? And then I walked out of the theater going, that was absolutely fantastic.
Is this the best one? You could make an argument.
But it does stand on the shoulders. It does stand on the shoulders of previous Spider-Man movies.
The whole first 10 minutes is an inside joke.
Yeah.
Right? And how do your daughters feel about Into the Spider-Verse?
I don't think so.
I mean, I can only speak for mine, and I'm sure there are young girls around the world that love this movie, but mine don't really care for it, and I wish they did.
We haven't watched this movie at my house. Again, I don't know that we're all ready for that, but your kids are going to love it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But so, like, I know that my 5-year-old stepdaughter really likes the young kid Spider-Man content that's out there right now. So I do think that she would enjoy this. But you have Spider-Gwen. Right, Spider-Gwen's an awesome character.
True.
So I think this is
for
extremely accessible Spider-Man.
It's the new hotness versus nostalgia here.
Sure. I think, but it has that little bit for everybody. You know, we are over here going, oh, I love me some Peter B. Parker. I like Spider-Man who's eating pizza and wearing sweatpants. Yeah. And then you've got, kids like 8-year-old to 15-year-old young boys who are like, Miles Morales is the coolest.
Yeah.
You've got, girls can watch Gwen Stacy.
But then you have Goonies, which is just speaking for myself.
Okay.
But every little boy's fantasy of going on a treasure hunt and finding the treasure.
You're a dad in 1987, for example. You're watching this on home video with your kids. Do you care as a parent watching this without having watched it as a kid? Do you care?
I don't know. That's the problem. I can't separate myself from my childhood.
Would you like me to answer? Would you like me to answer for you?
Had you not seen this before this challenge?
I have never seen this movie until 4 hours ago.
Who are you?
I hate this movie. It is a piece of garbage. If you didn't watch it as a kid, you will hate it.
500 or 4?
What's the next episode?
I could not stand stand this movie.
How many
like
times has Zach done this? How many times has Zach done this?
Hey,
where we're
Joel,
like,
do you like the Beatles?
Here's this cherished movie that we love.
It is like
Zach's like, I hate it.
It is like being punched in the face by a party of 7-year-olds. It is awful. You know what's you like listening to your kids at their birthday parties? That's the Goonies.
I do enjoy listening to my kids, Zach. Maybe you should listen to yours.
This movie is grating. If you aren't a kid going on a pirate adventure, then this has nothing.
I don't think there's ever been
This is not a movie for adults.
I don't think there's ever been a vote done out of spite on Baconsale, but I'm voting for Goonies.
So am I.
Well, you know what's going to happen next round. This movie is terrible.
It is so
I'm
good.
sorry to poop
Zach,
on your childhood.
It's your fault. We probably would have voted for Spider-Verse. But your venom came across and made us vote for
Spider-Man
Goonies.
is
We have to balance out the
so
universe
much
with our love
better.
for Goonies against your hate for Goonies.
This was terrible.
So you're saying I
Never.
shouldn't watch it again?
No, also I do
You
think
absolutely should not. Leave it in your childhood. If you love it, leave it in your childhood, I promise. As an
No.
adult, it is painful.
I've watched it multiple times as an adult with my kids. Still enjoy.
Corey Feldman is trying so hard to be
And
cool.
Chunk's
It is
scenes are
laughable.
really annoying.
Chunk is one of the most annoying characters on screen.
We got to move on, guys.
Oh my word.
Goonies is amazing. Go see it.
Impossible to watch. Goonies moves on. Now we have Back to the Future.
Marty McFly, a 17-year-old high school student, is actually sent 30 years in the past in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by his close friend, the Maverick scientist.
A disgraced nuclear physicist.
The Maverick scientist. That's what he's known as.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis
Who
in
did
1985.
so many good movies.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd.
So many bad movies, too.
True.
And Mary Poppins.
In turn of the century London, a magical nanny employs music and adventure to help two neglected children become closer to their father.
And this is directed by Robert Stevenson. I want to point that out because he also directed Old Yeller, Darby O'Gill and Little People, The Absent-Minded Professor, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and The Love Bug.
Didn't he write Treasure Island?
That's the Lewis. You gotta add the Lewis.
Starring Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke.
What a magical
Came out in
movie.
1964. I hate this matchup.
This is a terrible
hate this
matchup
matchup.
because these two movies I think couldn't be more different in what they're trying to accomplish.
No, absolutely. One is an edge-of-your-seat thriller comedy, and the other is a beautifully funny animated movie. A little bit slow.
Yeah. And I do think in simpler times, the mix of animation, the music is great. Live action, it was really great. Do you foresee kids now enjoying this?
My kids now enjoy this.
My kids now
good.
enjoy this.
Good.
I do.
That gives me some hope.
My wife hates Mary Poppins.
Go on.
Hates it. Because she... Honestly, she hates the blend of animation and live action.
Oh, yeah, she does.
She hates that.
robotic voices and a mix of...
Yeah, honestly, that's her pet peeve.
The uncanny valley
Okay.
is wide.
Yeah. But having, oh man, this is not an easy matchup because I just watched Back to the Future just recently. Still holds up, still amazing. 5 stars. Love it.
I find
Love it.
even since I was a kid, I do really like Mary Poppins. I think it's got great music. I love the Sherman Brothers. They've written every Disney song in the 50s or 60s that you like, Winnie the Pooh and all that. But when they get back from the chalk painting and she's giving them the medicine and
slows down,
stay awake, everything from then on, I don't like it. We're talking about feeding birds. We're talking about banking. We're talking like it's not fun.
But I'm going to refer to a future episode. Is Back to the Future a film of films?
A film of films or a family film of family films?
Because I think it's more of a film of films than it is a family film.
I think there is some
argument.
content in there that, especially under a modern lens, has come into question.
For sure.
Here's the funny
Especially
thing.
because of a certain John Mulaney bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they were making Back to the Future, the producers and some studios rejected it multiple times. Multiple studios rejected it because they said it was not considered raunchy enough to compete with the successful comedies of the era.
Wow.
They're saying this is too
goodness.
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But then Walt Disney turned it down because they thought Marty fighting off his future mother's advances was too risque for the brand.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
There's terrorists in the movie.
Libyans. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Libyans. I think this movie, for me as a young boy, I found Marty to be the coolest thing.
So cool.
I loved watching the DeLorean. Anytime it was on screen, I was happy. The skateboarding scene after the diner is a lot of fun, and then him playing Johnny Be Good.
Yep.
Like there's so many moments that even though the story might not be the most appropriate thing, I think there are so many fun moments to enjoy, and frankly, a lot of that stuff went over our heads. Let's be real.
Yep.
And I know you guys mentioned it a lot. This is one of my I watched it on TNT movies. So one of my favorite lines from this entire show is when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So once it came out on DVD, I was shocked at the language.
Literally, as I was watching this movie today, because I wasn't really watching it was on in the background, and I was quoting it without even looking at the screen. I'm sitting there quoting the lines as I'm typing because it is so. Back to the Future is so ingrained in my brain.
Of course it is.
But I get the edit because I'm like, do you think I should swear? Yes, dang it, George, swear.
Yeah. I really love Back to the Future, but Kent, you may have won me over the argument because
it's so hard, but Mary Poppins is more boring. It's also 2 hours and 19 minutes. Is that a family movie? I'm split on this one because I think one is obviously a better movie.
By the way,
Back to the Future has a
Back to the
perfect
Future
script.
is one of our tied for highest rated IMDb movies.
Yeah.
It is universally acclaimed. But you might be right, Kent, that in our future Back at a Film of Films, it would be a good contender. But I think family film of family films, Mary Poppins will. I think young kids may get bored.
I have no hesitation showing Mary Poppins to any member of my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I'm going to enjoy Back to the Future 10 times more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are you voting for? And I think the older kids are going to enjoy Back to the Future.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, if we cut out Back to the Future in the first round, guys,
but is it the most
quadrant?
Is it a family movie though? It's a weird. It's
depends
like
on your family.
Like The Princess Bride. It's kind of genre adjacent more than firmly
then
anything.
Kill it, you guys. It's up to you.
What did you vote for?
I'm not going to vote.
I will vote for Mary Poppins.
I got kicked off of Baconsale for my opinions on Goonies.
Did you?
I'm done. I can't vote anymore.
Oh. Zach, what do you vote for? Just kill it. Just do it.
I can't in good conscience do it. Back to the Future.
No, that's not what I wanted you to do.
I know.
You want to make it easy on you.
That's so stupid.
Kent, you made the argument that swayed me. Kent, let me ask you this. Would your two daughters watch Back to the Future and enjoy it?
We have, and they watched it and they liked it.
They kind of don't like anything.
But they're a little bit older. They're 10 and 14.
I think my youngest kids got a little bored with Back to the Future, to be honest. And while as the animation, Mary Poppins
you're
keep
comparing
around.
it to a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, though.
And
Mary
yet they
Poppins,
sat through it. They sat through Mary Poppins and they enjoyed it. My wife left, but my kids enjoyed it.
I'm sure they really loved the part about the mom fighting for the women's right to vote.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm saving the movie for the future. Saving Back to the Future for the future because Mary Poppins is going forward.
Woo!
I mean,
hot takes.
I have watched it with my family. They enjoy it. I don't think you've done a bad thing, Ken.
And that's the other thing. Is
I feel like I have.
You have.
It is. Okay. But at the same time, I feel like it will get justification if it comes up on the. Well, if it comes up on the.
It better.
It probably. 'Cause I think we're building that bracket based on previous brackets.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Mary Poppins moves on.
I never saw that coming.
This is so painful.
It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious.
Now we have The Incredibles.
While trying to lead a quiet suburban life, a family of undercover superheroes are forced into action to save the world.
It was released in 2004, directed by Brad Bird.
And starring Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, and Sarah Vowell.
And The Iron Giant.
A young boy befriends a giant robot from outer space that a paranoid government agent wants to destroy.
Directed by Brad Bird.
Starring Vin Diesel and Jennifer Aniston.
Brad Bird versus Brad Bird. This is the movie.
I miss him.
Oh, I actually have a third one. I'm bringing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
And Tomorrowland.
Brad Bird and Ratatouille. Brad Bird directed both of these. I think it's really weird that they're up against each other. But Iron Giant is what led him to be hired by Pixar to make The Incredibles.
By the way, this is only one of 2 Pixar movies on this bracket, which is crazy.
Only 2?
Only 2.
What the heck, listener?
I'm okay with the 2 that are here. The weird thing about this, I think Iron Giant has aged better because of the style of animation.
But it wasn't really appreciated at the time.
No, it wasn't.
Iron Giant was a bomb.
This is an underappreciated movie. It's flown under the radar for 24 years now, or however long it's been out. But I think because of the hand-drawn animation style mixed with a little bit of computer animation, it's aging better. When I look at Incredibles now, I love The Incredibles. It came out in 2004, right? It looks like it needs like an HD remaster.
So it's like a PS2 game.
It needs a PS5 update.
Really? Because I thought the style of animation is like that's what it's supposed to look like.
When was the last time you watched it?
Every day. Every morning I wake up and watch that.
Incredibles, like Pixar has subtly made updates over the years to add detail, to add color, and depth to their worlds. So now when you go back and watch Incredibles, it feels flat.
Okay, but hear me out. Like, I love The Iron Giant. I love the themes. But it's a darker movie compared to a movie about family.
It is. I actually think it is a much more mature
There's more
movie.
death in Incredibles than there is
in
Iron
huh?
Giant.
But it's like fun superhero death.
Yeah.
But if I may tell a personal story.
Go for it.
Regarding the family friendliness of it all. Iron Giant was actually banned in my home, like, Mia's head of household for a while.
Oh, okay, go on.
Because my young daughter repeated some of the words that are said in Iron Giant because it is PG language. Like,
are you allowed to say them now?
There's some farmer words out there.
Okay, gotcha.
And other phrases. And she just said one of the things, and we went, where did you hear that? And she's like, in the movie we watched last night. And I was like, okay. We're pulling that one off the shelf for a while. And I hadn't watched it for a long time. So that my claim to my vote here is just saying Iron Giant out of the two was the one that got the family friendly. And Incredibles is squeaky fun. Not that every family needs squeaky fun.
No.
Meaning, as your kids get older, you can handle a Back to the Future. But
I think if I picked I picked these movies for family movie night, everyone's in on Incredibles, and I think the kids might actually not really care for Iron Giant.
Really?
I don't think my wife cares.
Not
for it
until they're
either.
older and probably in film class.
Yeah,
my 9-year-old son loved Iron Giant.
Yeah, it's great.
Certainly more depth, but I'm going to put the vote forward for The Incredibles.
Pity vote for Iron Giant, please.
Okay.
If you want to.
The Incredibles moves on.
That was totally wicked!
Now we are on the other side of the bracket, starting with The Lion King.
Lion Prince Simba and his father are targeted by his bitter uncle who wants to ascend the throne himself.
It sounded like Transformers.
Optimus just transformed.
Released in 1994 and starring Matthew Broderick and Jeremy Irons and James Earl Jones.
Versus Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
A down on his luck inventor turns a broken down Grand Prix car into a fancy vehicle for his children, and they go off on a magical fantasy adventure.
Dick Van Dyke's in that one.
Yeah.
And it came out in 1968 and written by Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming of James Bond fame, don't you know?
Although I believe he died before the book was
he wrote the
published.
book. Roald Dahl did the screenplay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I believe that Ian Fleming had a heart attack and he decided to write this children's novel, but it was published in 3 volumes, but I think he passed away before the first one was
frankly, he deserved it. Okay.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang seems like one of those movies you watch when there's not a lot of movies and you have older baby boomers as parents.
I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a ton as a kid.
I've
seen this movie so many times.
Bang.
I know a lot about it. I do champion it, I think mostly ironically. Once they go to the land of make-believe, this movie's not good.
It's not good.
What? I love the toy box.
That scene?
Okay, that
watch on
scene's
YouTube.
good.
Yeah.
But then I think we talked about kids having like a thriller moment. I think The Child Catcher is one step too far. I think it's
Child
too
Catcher
scary.
is very scary. But I think it's also from a parent's perspective, for as the grown-ups, it's just out there, and it's not enjoyable.
Lion King, go for it.
Lion King moves on.
What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula? Wow!
Now we have The Sound of Music.
The Hills Are Alive in this film, where a young novice is sent by her convent in 1930s Austria to become a governess to 7 children of a widowed naval officer.
Released in 1965 and starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer.
Our longest runtime at 174 minutes.
That's going to go against it. Versus The Karate Kid.
A martial arts master agrees to teach karate to a bully teenager.
I don't like this matchup.
Terrible matchup.
This is directed by John G. Alvison, who did Rocky and Rocky 5 and The Karate Kid 2 and 3 as well. Starring Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita, Elizabeth Shue, Billy Zabka, and came out in 1984.
Which is also too long at 2 hours and 6 minutes.
You think so?
Yeah.
A little couple
For a movie
too many,
like this.
couple too many montages. So The Karate Kid and Sound of Music, I think this is a bad matchup because these one of these movies is good and the other's not, but one of them's more of a family movie. I don't like The Sound of Music all that much.
I know you don't.
But I can't picture my family sitting down and watching Daniel-san.
Do you know how many?
But it's not to me.
Do you know how many families have sat down and watched The Sound of Music?
All of them.
Yes,
except for mine.
But it's kind of hard, right? Because it's important to show kids what bullying is like in the 80s, because bullying is not.
And what bullying was like in Nazi Germany.
Oh, it's like an intro to Nazis.
Austria.
It really is like an introduction to World War II for kids. You're like, you probably never experienced any movie like this.
No, you could watch the first half of the movie, and then it ends with them getting married.
I actually know of people who do that.
It is a dreary movie, but the music is like, you hear it like 2 notes and you're like, I will never forget that song.
I hate this matchup.
I did not grow up watching The Sound of Music. We were too busy watching The Karate Kid. We watched that all the time.
I just watched Karate Kid again with my kids, with my whole family. Such a good movie.
Daniel, when he gets
such a good movie.
When he gets beat up at Halloween, he is wearing a San Diego Chargers jersey T-shirt, and I love that so much.
Pat Morita got an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, or nomination. Great. He didn't win. But he is, as Mr. Miyagi, he is fantastic in that role.
I do think it's a great, we do need like an underdog sports movie for kids, and I think that's Karate Kid.
I don't know how, but kids though. I think the age is the problem here. I think it's enjoyable for teens and up.
Also, is karate a thing? I mean, I know in the 80s and 90s.
Because of karate.
We claim to be in karate class. We never were, at least I did. Sound of Music, as dreary as it is the one where you're making it a family tradition to watch the movie. And so that is my vote.
I don't like this movie.
Of course
but
not.
It should go on. I think it's the right pick here for the spirit of this bracket. I will vote for The Sound of Music.
Pity vote?
Don't you pity vote. You know there's a right choice.
There is a right choice.
You don't actually want to vote for Karate Kid.
No, the thing is, I want to give a pity vote to Karate Kid. I want it to deserve. I wanted to get some recognition for the amazing film. It still is.
Doesn't
and
know
it's still
if you vote for
enjoyable.
it, Joel.
It is so good. It knows. It knows.
It doesn't know.
What it knows is,
but when I think
somebody here thinks the second one's better.
Yeah.
When I think of movies that families have sat down and watched together for years, Sound of Music gets it.
I think they watched it together years ago. I don't think they do anymore.
If these two had not been pitted against each other, Karate Kid would have gotten further. This is an unfair matchup.
I completely agree.
Box office messed us over here. But I got to vote for Sound of Music.
Absolutely.
Sound of Music moves on.
I am 16, going on 17. I know that I'm naive.
Now we have the Lego Movie.
An ordinary Lego construction worker, thought to be prophesied as special, is recruited to join a quest to stop an evil tyrant from gluing the Lego universe into eternal stasis.
Released in 2014, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, starring Chris Pratt and Elizabeth Banks.
Versus The Parent Trap.
Identical twins separated at birth and each raised by one of their biological parents discover each other for the first time at summer camp.
This is the 98 version?
This is the 98 version, yes. We want to clarify that with Dennis Quaid and Lindsay Lohan.
No Haley Mills?
No. Starring Dennis Quaid, Natasha Richardson, Lindsay Lohan, and Lindsay Lohan.
Spoken like a millennial, but I like this one better than the other earlier
it's
ones.
Charming.
I think
very
they're
charming.
Two Parent Traps for me.
They're both good.
Different, but equal. Mm-hmm. I gave them both 3.5 stars. They're both kind of like, they're
But
fun.
why is it losing in the first round?
Because it's going against the Lego Movie.
The camp stuff in Parent Trap is so fun, and them pranking on the stepmom is so fun.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of crush on Lindsay Lohan because I was 8 years old.
She was adorbs.
For like a day.
But like the Lego Movie's great, right?
Yeah.
Lego Movie is one of those I did not see coming and did not know how much I was going to enjoy it.
The little kids love it. The big kids love it. The dads love it. The moms put up with it.
Family movie time. Thanks, moms.
I think, okay, truthfully, if you were to put both these movies on for family movie night and separate TVs in separate rooms, naturally, I think the family would end up in the Lego Movie because there's humor for adults, there's animation for children, and it's so much fun. And Parent Trap is fun. I enjoy Parent Trap. It's not going to win.
It's cute.
I mentioned this before. Just a quick story. I went to a Frozen sing-along for a birthday party for a family member, and I snuck out to go to the bathroom and walked into the Lego Movie and watched the Lego Movie until Frozen was over. It's really good. I like it so much.
Zach got stomach issues.
Yeah, oh no. The Lego Movie moves on.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Now we have Aladdin.
A kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry grand vizier vie for the magic lamp that has power to make their deepest wishes come true.
Released in 1992 and starring Robin Williams and Scott Weinger.
And Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey.
A fun-loving, I'm going to read the whole thing. A fun-loving American bulldog pup, a hilarious Himalayan cat, and a wise old golden retriever embark on a long trek through the rugged wilderness of the Sierra Nevada mountains in a quest to reach home and their beloved owners.
Shadow.
Starring Michael J. Fox, Don Amici, Sally Field, came out in 1993. It's about 84 minutes long.
How is Homeward Bound the sneaky movie we just can't let go of? Because the quality isn't great. It's not a well-filmed movie, but it's a movie that sticks with us.
You know,
why is
an emotional
the
resonance.
animals talking thing well.
Do they?
I think because
something that we've all grown tired of now, though.
Because they don't like CG their mouths.
Okay,
it's just like narration.
That's the thing. It does
it's almost
hold
like
up.
telepathic communication. So there's nothing weird there. You can watch this now, and it's not like
Space Buddies.
Like you watch the scenes of Forrest Gump where he's talking to the president. And you're like, that's not right. That's weird. You don't get any of that. Yeah, Space Buddies. That's bizarre. This is a heart-wrenching movie at times. This is a joyful movie. Everybody loves pets. Everybody can think about their pet.
But then we have a literal masterpiece. It's, I would say, maybe one of the most accessible Disney animated films. It has an amazing hero and villain. The music is perfect. And it's short enough at 90 minutes.
Arsenio Hall references, Rodney Dangerfield references.
The references are a little weird.
But it flies by at 90 minutes.
It is breezy. It's got a good action, surprisingly.
Yeah. Like which one? Let's do the Zach choice. You have Homeward Bound, grabbing off the shelf, and Aladdin. Which one are you watching?
It's Aladdin.
Easy.
But I think everybody's going to be able to like Homeward Bound.
Like Homeward Bound, you will cry at the end.
Even the young kids are going to be invested in the story.
Yeah.
When Shadow comes up over the thing.
Stop.
It's just what he can say.
It's going to get me. It's going to get me.
Good.
I love Homeward Bound.
I do
Incredible
too.
Journey. I love Aladdin.
Yeah.
You voted for Aladdin?
I'm voting Aladdin.
I don't think Homeward Bound has catchy enough songs.
That's true. It doesn't. But But every time
got tears in my eyes.
Every time Chance trips in the gopher hole, every single time I laugh at that, I cry at the end.
Cats roll, dogs drool, guys.
But Zach, you voted for Aladdin as well?
I have to, yeah.
Okay,
Aladdin.
then I am gonna give a pity vote.
Why are you Mr. Pity Vote?
I am Mr. Pity Vote today because I'm giving love to Shadow and Sassy and Chance.
Well, that's a tough one for sure. But Aladdin moves on.
Riff raff, street rat. I don't buy that.
Now we have Finding Nemo.
After his son is captured in the Great Barrier Reef and taken to Sydney, I was going to do the address, I won't. A timid clownfish sets out on a journey to bring him home.
Released in 2003 and starring Albert Brooks and Ellen DeGeneres.
And The Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy and Toto are swept away by a tornado from Kansas to the magical land of Oz.
Directed by Victor Fleming and starring Judy Garland, and also came out in 1939.
I mean, that's impressive.
Guys,
it's impressive.
It's an hour and 42 minutes long.
Why
Does Wizard of Oz seem longer than that?
Oh, it's a 3-hour movie in my brain.
The poppies make you go sleep.
Isn't it weird?
It's the longest
No, but
movie.
it's short. Question. Is there a movie that has permeated pop culture for so much and for so long than The Wizard of Oz?
This is required reading. This is mandatory.
This is required film watching. This is literally the movie they show when they want to show Hollywood magic. They show Wizard of Oz.
Do we watch it because it's good, or do we watch it because it's old? Or do we watch it because we've watched it?
It is good.
I mean,
it's good. I just watched it again.
All
Still
of the
real
above.
good.
I think it's just it's respected, and I think we give it that credit, and it will go on. And for some reason, it's become a Christmas movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird.
I don't
right?
know why. Maybe because
I never understood that.
Because it's in A Christmas Story. Because it had come out recently in the storyline or something like that. And, for some reason, this has become a Christmas movie.
I won't only give it credit. I will give it my vote. I'm voting for Wizard of Oz easily.
This
because
will
I
help me
like
decide
it more than Finding
What's
Nemo.
the better sequel? Finding Dory or Return to Oz?
Oh, I'll take Return to Oz.
Yeah, that's why Wizard of Oz is getting my vote.
What?
Has the better sequel.
Finding Nemo all the way.
I love Dory. I hate Dory.
What?
I think the movie is...
The first time... I love
and,
Finding
by the way,
Nemo.
the animation is incredible.
This is just like... I'm saying,
gorgeous.
I'm amazed that a movie from 1939 can still hold my children's attention and my attention and my wife's attention.
And then what do you do when you have to deal with the bad dreams from the monkeys?
The same thing I have to do when they have the nightmares about everything that happens in Finding Nemo.
Okay.
That is Meet the Parents for Pixar.
Admittedly, for a minute there, when we watched Finding Nemo, we skipped over the opening scene.
Yeah.
Oh, when the mom dies?
Yeah. That didn't go well with my young stepdaughter. But the first... I'm going to start crying. I've always liked this movie. I think it's gorgeous. The first time I watched that movie with a young child sitting on my lap was amazingly magical. Then I realized I would do anything for these kids, just like Marlon.
Yep.
So Finding Nemo gets my vote.
I don't mean to downplay Finding Nemo because it is a really, really good movie. In fact, it is, by the way, the best-selling DVD title of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I give it respect.
We all bought it.
I give it respect.
Yeah.
But I'm giving Wizard of Oz my vote.
Easily.
All right, I get that. Wizard of Oz moves on.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Now we have Hook.
When Captain James Hook kidnaps his children, an adult Peter Pan must return to Neverland and reclaim his youthful spirit in order to challenge his old enemy.
Released in 1991, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, and Julia Roberts.
Another Steven Spielberg movie.
He's good at this stuff. And then Father of the Bride.
With his oldest daughter's wedding approaching, a father finds himself reluctant to let go.
And this stars Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, Kimberly Williams, George Newbern, Martin Short.
Family movie.
No, absolutely it is.
Father of the Bride.
Absolutely it is.
Did you actually enjoy this when you were 10?
No.
Yes, because you have the Kieran Culkin character.
Come on, though.
No, I think Father of the Bride.
I never related to
Father
this
of the Bride
movie.
is one of those movies you can put on and the whole family enjoys.
You will in a few years.
Oh, stop it.
Although it is our lowest rated on IMDb at 6.5.
Makes total sense.
But still passing good.
What did we say this about before? I'll say I like Father of the Bride Part 2 better.
Really?
Yep.
I did watch the 19...
it's like it's Godfather.
I watched the 1950 version of Father of the Bride. Not as good as the 1991.
And Hook isn't even we really like it here on the show, but it's not even considered a tier 1 Spielberg movie.
No, even still, Spielberg has said he's disappointed in how Hook turned out, even though I love it.
Yeah, I hear rumblings that this is technically not a good movie.
But are we putting a young boy movie versus a young girl movie? But what is Father of the Bride anyways? Who's it for?
A romantic. It's for families. It is literally a family.
I don't think so.
No, for think about this.
Okay.
This is your family. Your family now is teenagers. Teenage girls. And you're watching this movie with them, with your teenage girls.
You know what we're watching instead?
You're in tears.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You are in tears when you're watching this movie with your girls.
No, but it's more of a rom-com than it is a family movie.
No, I think it's a family movie because the romance is happening, but it's a side to the husband.
And why has Diane Keaton always been 74 years old? Always. Like Maggie Smith.
Sorry, let's work that back.
Maggie Smith is in Hook.
Why has Diane Keaton
doesn't age either?
Always been a 74-year-old fox?
It's those hats.
Never really been.
They're magic hats.
Also, why has Maggie Smith always been a 94-year-old fox?
Yes.
I'm more attracted to Michael Keaton than I am Diane Keaton.
Okay. So I think Hook gets the win.
Yeah, Hook gets the win for sure.
Segue.
Now we have Beauty and the Beast.
A prince cursed to spend his days with a hideous monster sets out to regain his humanity by earning a young woman's love.
Released in 1991.
And Never-Ending Story.
No!
I hate this.
Who put this against Beauty and the Beast?
Bacon Council.
Bacon Council. I love Never-Ending Story.
My word.
Love it.
Read the synopsis.
A troubled boy dives into a wondrous fantasy world through the pages of a mysterious book, and we, as the film goer, also dive into that world.
Came out in 1984.
There's 4 levels of depth, people.
Meta.
Starring Noah Hathaway, Barrett Oliver.
I only saw this when I was a kid, Never-Ending Story, and I thought I knew it, and I watched it just today.
Okay.
And I loved it. I had so much fun. And I watched this after watching The Goonies, which I hated.
This movie, more than anything, like I talk to my kids about Never-Ending Story, they kind of make fun of me because I made them watch this. And they watched the whole thing, and I think they liked it. But then after, like, Dad, your movies are so old. They're so dated. And I'm like, but...
There is something visually that is quite dated to this movie.
Which movie?
To The Never-Ending Story.
There you go.
The simple fact of the puppets' mouths not lining up to what they say. I mean, that is a tough pill to swallow. But or even the actors.
A rock biter. A rock biter.
Yeah, Deep Roy not matching up. And especially if you know Deep Roy's voice from like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
He's the racing snail driver.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that I always felt a little... shady watching the Southern Oracle. And I'm hoping my mom wouldn't come into the room.
First gate.
Family friendly.
First gate of the Southern Oracle, there's some straight up just like focus on the statue.
Yeah.
And it's artful.
I think that's important for young boys.
It's stop, builds character, something.
Stop. But it traumatized a generation. We can always see the memes now and know exactly the sadness that everyone feels. Right?
I nothing that people feel.
I have turned... So I think in the verses... Who was Team Labyrinth?
Oh, that was Joel.
Joel.
But I absolutely love both the movies.
I think at the time, for sure. At the time, I was leaning Labyrinth. After this viewing, though, I kind of now shift.
But go back and watch Labyrinth too.
To Never-Ending Story. So I'm going to have to.
They're both 5 stars.
Never-Ending Story. The depth of it, the adventure, but the ability to connect to the characters and literally the meta of the story pulling you into it. It sees you as
only
you're
the
watching
first
it.
half of the novel too.
I don't want to have the second half.
That's part 2. Never-Ending Story part 2.
I don't like that one.
But we're talking about it so much because...
I mean, it's going up against the movie that got nominated for Best Picture.
The first ever animated movie. I think.
This makes me so mad.
It's so good. Both of I honestly want to do a whole show about Never-Ending Story. I know it's been done. I loved it so much.
Zach, I'm going to give you a hug after the show, but we do have to eliminate it right now.
It's got to go. Beauty and the Beast.
It does. We're all voting for Beauty and the Beast. Because here's the thing, and this is the reason I'll say it. Never-Ending Story, fantastic film. Love the film. So good. Fantasy is a hard bridge to cross for some people.
I don't know. I feel like fantasy adventure is good for families, though.
Oh, it absolutely is. But I think
it's
some people get really weirded out by this movie because there's a lot of weird stuff that happens.
Yeah, strange characters, all sorts of that stuff. Beauty and the Beast, very approachable. It moves on.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test.
Now we have Tangled.
Rapunzel has spent her entire life in a tower, but now that a runaway thief has stumbled upon her, she is about to discover the world for the first time.
A release in 2010 and stars Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi.
And The Sandlot.
In the summer of 1962, a new kid in town is taken under the wing of a young baseball prodigy and his rowdy team, resulting in many adventures.
Starring James Earl Jones and a bunch of little kids, came out in 1993.
What a fun movie this is.
Oh, man,
so these are about the same length, same rating. It's about an hour 40, hour 41.
So I just watched Goonies, didn't like it. Just watched Never-Ending Story, really liked it. I watched Sandlot for the first time last year and loved. I loved it.
That's totally up your alley. It's a baseball movie about childhood baseball and dreams.
Takes you right back. Perfect summer movie. And I think as an adult, again, if my kids picked it, I'd be like, you know what, that is a bunch of fun. It is juvenile, but it is fun for everybody.
Okay, I'm going to state a case while you guys think about it.
I'm thinking.
Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Sandlot. I actually think it's really cheesy.
Why?
I don't really like the movie. I think it's more of a local favorite than a actual classic movie.
Did you have friends growing up?
No, and they never let me play baseball. Well, this makes sense.
Hey, I'm your friend, and I still won't let you play.
Kent did have really long hair, though, as a kid.
It's meant to be nostalgic, but it comes off as, I think, pretty wooden. Really false. And I think the narration is so cheesy.
No, I was going to say one of the weak spots is the narration, because watching it again as an adult, it became very apparent every time they'd say, and this was the biggest pickle we got ourselves into. And then like a scene later, and this was how we got into the biggest pickle that we'd ever got into. And I was like, ooh.
Now, meanwhile, we may say, oh, there's too much Disney moving forward to the second round, but I think that's okay, because I think
their genre is family
Tangled
movies.
and Moana are the last two great Disney movies. And I think Tangled is one that came out of nowhere. It's a Rapunzel story.
Frozen is pretty good, okay?
Mother Gothel is literally the last great Disney villain.
She is.
I agree.
Mother Gothel is great. Flynn is great. The music is splendid. And as a dad, if you've had daughters and they watch Tangled, my daughters, for example, wore Rapunzel dresses for 4 years straight. Those things were ratty-tatty by the end. And that's how good Rapunzel is, or Tangled is. I love it. They love it.
They did literally change the name from Rapunzel to Tangled because they wanted to get the 4 quadrants. They wanted to appeal to boys as well as girls.
And they got it because Flynn Rider is such a great male character as well, which you don't always see.
But then Sandlot captures the essence of childhood. Like, it really, to me, it is just one of those movies that captured lightning in a bottle.
Does your wife like it?
Don't see she watched it.
Would your young daughters like it? I don't think my young daughter would like this.
I could say, hey, that's in Utah. We actually did drive past the pool the other day. I'm like, yeah, that's where it's filmed.
That's a weak argument as far as like the
local
actual movie
I think
goes.
it's a local favorite.
I'm going to vote for Tangled.
Oh, that's a shocker. I thought I was fighting for it.
Nope, I'm going to vote for Tangled.
I knew he was going to. I'm voting for Tangled as well. Because even the Sandlot, there were some things that little content that had to be edited out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like even though the chewing tobacco is a hilarious scene because they learn the dangers of chewing tobacco.
Yeah,
they do end up vomiting all over the place. Mm-hmm. And between that and some other references, we kind of went, oh, that might need a clear play next time we watch the young kids. But older kids, sure,
okay,
no problem.
Tangled moves on.
All right, listen, I didn't want to have to do this, but you leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
All right, we've moved through our round 1. We were down to 16.
Of course we've taken the fun.
Typically, we move through this round pretty quickly because we're going to split hairs.
And we cry lots.
Let's just move on. Willy Wonka versus Paddington 2. I'm going to go right away. Paddington 2, I preach this movie all the time. I grew up with Willy Wonka. Paddington 2 is what my kids will go.
And I'm voting for Willy Wonka, not to be contrary, because I was actually going to say immediately Willy Wonka here. I really do enjoy Paddington 2, but there's something about the fun visuals and clever jokes and memorable musical moments that really do capture a whole family's attention. The chocolate
and it makes sense.
room.
You are a legacy guy, Joel.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
You always prefer the proven longer legacy. I think Paddington 2 is a new movie. That's a problem for you, typically.
I wouldn't even say a problem, because the thing about Paddington 2, I just watched it again and loved it again. And I went, why haven't I watched this more? Because it's kind of like I watched it back around the time it came out, and then I watched it now, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Everybody knows
Willy
Wonka
required viewing.
Yeah,
I think Paddington 2 is lovable, like literally unlovable.
Don't you dare.
Willy Wonka is more likable, and I think likability here means more watchability, and Willy Wonka moves on.
What?
You
just eliminated the best movie ever made.
Listen, and I think it's 100%.
I
think it's more important to say that you love Paddington 2, more important than actually loving Paddington 2. It's great.
Did you just compare Paddington 2 to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, actually, it's closed on Sundays. I'm sorry.
I've never felt more rage fire in my life.
I know it has to happen at least once.
I don't get mad on the show,
but
I like Goonies. Can you change your answer now?
The guy
Goonies was great.
About how much he hated about Goonies.
Goonies was awesome. Change your answer.
With this?
No.
Zach Test. They're on the shelf. What do I watch?
I would watch Willy Wonka. I would literally watch Willy Wonka.
My wife and I have watched Paddington 2 by ourselves.
And it's great.
We watched it one time and my wife said, buy it right now.
I was watching it.
We all lose.
I turned it on today and my daughter came in the room and she was wrapping the Christmas presents that she just bought for her brothers and sisters. She kept getting distracted by Paddington 2 and it was so adorable. I didn't want to interrupt her.
No.
But no. I think we made the right vote.
A tea party in a prison. Is it episode 500 yet? A tea party by a chocolate river. Where chickens getting their heads cut off?
In the tunnel.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure there's chicken getting its head cut off in Paddington 2.
There's no fast forwarding of any songs in Paddington 2.
How many oranges get killed in Paddington 2?
Oh, delicious marmalade.
Oh, I hate marmalade.
I'm sorry.
Willy Wonka moves on.
Any good? Excuse me.
Home Alone versus How to Train Your Dragon.
I will vote for Home Alone.
Even though it's a Christmas movie, you can't watch this year round.
Okay,
though some people do.
We cannot discount family movies being Christmas movies because literally almost every single Christmas movie is a family movie.
I did not know that Home Alone was a Christmas movie until like 3 years ago.
What?
I never watched it. It was exclusively at Christmas.
No, but
either one.
I like How to Train Your Dragon. I don't think I like it as much as everyone else.
There's a winner here, and it's Home Alone, obviously. But let me just say, no, I'm not voting for it. I just think you guys will. I think How to Train Your Dragon is 3 pristine movies, and that is so rare for animated movies or really any trilogy. And I would vote for it, but I know it's going to lose. But I think it's incredible.
But you are voting for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I'll vote for it, but I know I'm going to lose. I just think it ages so well and will continue to.
I already voted for Home Alone.
The themes of inclusion are so great. It's just not, okay, hold on. What about Kevin McAllister being a really violent sociopath? Right?
I think more people die in How to Train Your Dragon than Home Alone, Kent.
Like one person, the bad guy.
I think Home Alone is far too violent. I don't particularly care for it.
What?
It's never been a favorite of mine. How to Train Your Dragon.
What?
How to Train
John Williams score.
Yeah, but
bringing a family together.
John Powell and How to Train Your Dragon. It is such an incredible story.
How to Train Your Dragon is good for every age.
Oh,
I don't want to show young kids.
Joel, I'm so
Zach's
sorry.
voting in spite.
Joel,
I don't want to show young kids.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
He dies over and over and over again because he gets. This is this is an inappropriately violent movie. Why are we showing it?
It's cartoon violence. Do you get offended by Looney Tunes?
To real people.
It's literally
Joel.
It is a live action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Your specific things about movies. You don't like when real things are happening to real people. This is real violence.
When have I ever said that?
When you talk about the difference between nudity and swearing and violence.
They're not really getting hurt, Zach.
But they are.
Grab your popcorn.
They're not really getting hurt.
They're getting
you
hurt
are not
by things at
understanding
home.
my argument at all. That's what your takeaway is from it.
It's a terrible example for kids.
No, it's hilarious.
Bad family movie.
Joel, do you want
He's voting out of spite.
Yeah,
it's your fault, kid.
Joel, that's why I voted second, because I thought he would go for Home Alone. I'm sorry.
No, you're not sorry. You're
but I will
wrong.
say, How to Train Your Dragon, the themes of the movie are actually better for children than anything in Home Alone.
No, the snow shoveler and his kids. It's a beautiful ending.
Yeah, but Leonard's
family is
not
important.
understanding another
Mr.
society.
Rogers would be ashamed of Home Alone.
Okay,
but he'd be cool with How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah,
no, guys,
he hates dragons.
Guys, can you hug? Something's going on here.
Family movies. How to Train Your Dragon moves on.
And now the spinning. Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile.
Now we have The Princess Bride versus Goonies. So happy 80s.
You hate one, and we voted against you in that last one. Which is Goonies.
Goonies aside, I mean, this is The Princess Bride is so good, right?
Yes, I'm voting for Princess Bride.
So am I.
Princess Bride moves on.
I want to give more love to Goonies.
Obviously, but I think
go for it.
I think the adult content pulls it back from winning.
It does. It does. It's not as accessible.
But then I think in a modern context, right? It's got adult content, but I think it's not adult enjoyable.
Okay,
right?
I think it's absolutely adult enjoyable.
Do you?
Yes. I already talked about this.
All right.
I'm still angry.
Princess Bride moves on.
As you wish.
Now we have Mary Poppins versus The Incredibles. That's a different.
Tuppence and Tuppence.
Man, they're
okay, Zach. I would actually generally say The Incredibles, but your argument about the animation, how it's aging poorly, kind of hurts it.
It's a little harder to watch, especially with The Incredibles 2, which is not also an amazing movie, but it's beautiful.
Let's talk about. I mean, the superhero genre is huge and will be remembered for decades. But it may be tired at a certain point.
But really Incredibles is one I think gets a pass.
It's a good example, though. It's the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, but like, do people care about that in 30 years? I don't know if they do. I think people still care about Mary Poppins.
I'm still going to go Incredibles.
I'm going to go Mary Poppins.
This is not easy for me because one of these has stood the test of time and is still very much a part of our modern day era with supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and spoonful of sugar, phrases that you just know. And The Incredibles, which I think is a fantastic, fantastic film.
Joel, if you want something to sway you, this is the only Pixar film remaining on the bracket.
No, that's not going to be an issue for me because I've given love to Pixar all the time.
No, Toy Story, huh?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a little weird.
A little bizarre.
Probably because the animation's so good.
Toy Story 2 is the best.
I like most of Mary Poppins. Most of it.
I get you.
Because it is practically perfect in every way, but those little imperfections, those little slower parts, the laughing on the ceiling part, I think goes a little too long.
That.
What, Willy Wonka? Okay.
They don't have a laughing on the ceiling.
Go on.
They almost get chopped by blades on the ceiling.
Yeah, worse.
Apparently it's too violent because real people are flying up in the bubbles and getting chopped. Anyway, my point being is that
I'm getting made fun of for picking a better movie. I don't know what it is.
No, you didn't pick the better movie. That's the problem.
Guys.
Home Alone sucks.
Home Alone's great.
Home Alone's worse than Goonies.
Home Alone's better than Goonies.
So
We literally
Mary
watched Home Alone
Poppins,
2 days ago. It was
Incredibles.
Anyway, and then I'm thinking about my kids and my wife. And my wife, she doesn't like Mary Poppins. My kids might get bored during Mary Poppins, but Incredibles were all there. I'm voting for Incredibles.
Wow.
I think it's good.
It is good.
Incredibles moves on.
Wow.
Meta Man, Express Elevator, Diner Guy, Snag on Takeoff, Splashdown, Sucked into a Vortex, Nuggets.
Behemoths in this genre.
Don't do it.
The Lion King versus The Sound of Music. Okay, you just have to go. The Lion King. It's, I think, more accessible to the younger kids.
It's shorter. It's an hour 28 minutes.
It's
rated G. So Sound of Music.
Both have emotional impact. Both have some challenging subject matter.
Okay. I just can't wait to be king versus do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, da. I mean,
Hamlet versus Nazis.
Really, that's all you need
I'd watch that. Oh. You know what?
But that was funny.
Maybe it's just because the
Sound of Music.
Why would you do
Let
that?
him finish his sentence. Because I want to make it more difficult. I want to make it more difficult.
Of course you do. That's the way you do things.
You guys are mad at each other, not me.
I'm mad at you because you do that little, I know it's not going to win, so I'm going to vote for this.
That's why you got to stop playing the meta. Play your actual choices.
No, Sound of Music is one that a lot of people, it's long. It's boring in parts. It's cheesy in parts. It's hard not to love it, though. It's hard not to love Sound of Music.
Nice family movie about a guy who, killed a bunch of U.S. soldiers, just saying.
Yeah, but lusty, long-necked lions falling in love with your sister. That's what Lion King is.
Oh, man.
Nala's a sister. Gross.
Okay. Here, I'll say this. Lion King may be my ultimate favorite Disney movie of all time. But that means that if Disney's known for their family movies, I'm voting for Lion King.
Okay, there you go.
I was so scared.
Sound of Music is so... I think of all the families sitting down to watch Sound of Music all the time, though. We do that.
I think this is potentially a final matchup for a lot of people. The Behemoth matchup. But
I agree.
The Lion King moves on.
Brother, help me.
Now we have the Lego Movie versus Aladdin. I feel like this one skews toward
the boys in the audience,
like tween boys.
Yeah,
or even young boys. 8-year-old boys.
This one's easy. I loved watching the Lego Movie. It's very funny for adults and for kids. As soon as it's over, I go, Lego Movie. That's kind of fun, I guess. Aladdin has stuck with me for 30 years now. I think it is brilliant. I mean, for me, it's easy.
So you're voting for Aladdin?
Easily.
Aladdin is one jump ahead of a Lego Movie. I'm voting for it as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Aladdin.
Okay,
so, yep, for sure. Aladdin moves on.
Tell her that.
Ooh, The Wizard of Oz versus Hook.
Okay. I absolutely love Hook, but I do see its shortcomings. I am continually impressed by Wizard of Oz. Just watching again, I kept being like, man, this is just magic. Just on-screen magic. Even the black and white hurricane, I was watching that going, how did they do that? And I had to go look it up because I was like, this is amazing.
Speaking of magic, though, don't you think that they did the flying particularly well in Hook? When Robin Williams flies, it's so well done to me.
And
holds up great.
You feel it because he earns it.
Yes.
The thing is, though, the imaginary food scene in Hook is one of the greatest sit down and watch with your family movie moments ever because everyone is just laughing and enjoying and loving it. When he finally flicks the spoon and the ice cream goes on his face and then everyone starts... He starts
I think only
Robin
Robin Williams could pull that off because that could have been a really cheesy scene.
It could have been. They were actually... Spielberg considered directing it as a musical with Michael Jackson in the lead. Ooh. Hook.
What about Rufio? So cool.
Rufio's great.
I prefer him as Zuko.
Okay, I'll give you that. The triumphant moment of becoming Peter Pan again. You're watching this whole movie going, is this guy going to believe him in himself? Oh, he does it.
And his son finally embracing him.
His son, Dustin Hoffman, we haven't talked a ton about.
No,
his turn as Hook is brilliant. This movie is, to me, I'm sad that Spielberg doesn't like this because I think this is just a classic Spielberg adventure.
Yeah.
In every sense.
And Wizard of Oz... it is our oldest on here, which shows that it has its legacy.
There's massive respect there.
There is, and I'm voting for Wizard of Oz. I have to vote for Wizard of Oz because of the way it has ingrained itself in pop culture, the way that people can still watch it these days.
But you probably prefer to watch Hook, though, right?
It's the legacy.
You know what's weird? Hook is longer, 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Hook is long.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really realize that.
Well, there's so much more that happens before you get to Neverland than you realize.
Yeah.
I mean, you go
and
to
it's cool.
You go
I
to
love
like
the character setup.
You go to a charity auction or something.
And you hate him. Peter Pan.
McGonagall standing
but
up there.
then the borderline horror when they come home and the children have been
that's
kidnapped.
such a good part.
And the shot, Spielberg's so good at his job.
Also, remember the part where the kid rolls up his legs and starts rolling down like a bowling ball? It's so good.
That part, every time I was like, I don't know about this.
I love it.
Angsty kids relating to the sun smashing all the clocks.
Zach, you vote for Hook?
I'm voting for Hook.
Wizard of Oz moves on.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. The Wizard of Oz moves on.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Now we have Beauty and the Beast versus Tangled.
No.
Beauty and the Beast.
You've said this before, Joel, many times. I do think that in many ways Tangled stands on the shoulders of Beauty and the Beast.
But which movie has better characters?
I love...
Not side characters. I don't mean
not side characters.
I mean like Belle, the Beast, and Gaston. I love Gaston.
Belle's the worst part of her own movie.
Yeah. The Beast isn't very good.
Well,
I think it's the side characters that are more fun.
Concept.
LeFou is great.
Time, song as old as rhyme.
Tale as old as time.
Also, be our guest. I'm throwing that out there. As much as I love,
he's got some dreams.
I've got a dream.
Got some dreams.
And at last I found the light. And then what's her initial song? The opening, brush my hair. I literally brushed my daughter's hair to that song. That's how I'd get them to stand still. I'd put on that clip and brush their hair.
When will
I
my
love
life
Tangled.
begin?
So good.
This is not like, I don't like Tangled. This is between the two of them. Beauty and the Beast, I feel, is one that is more epic that a family can watch
Zach
together.
Tess, what are you watching though? Tangled.
Beauty and the Beast.
It really depends on the time of year.
Like if I want culture, I want Beauty and the Beast. But if I want fun and excitement, it's Tangled.
As of the recording of this episode, it's a little chilly outside. Give me Beauty and the Beast. Maybe in the summer, give me Tangled. But they're both so good. But
Beauty and the
Beast.
Dang it!
Are you saying brackets are dependent on the weather?
Yes. Yes. Barometric pressure, humidity, whatever.
There goes the baker with his tray like always.
All right, now we move back over to our start of our Elite Eight with the very controversial Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory versus How to Train Your Dragon.
2 surprise winners here.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh. I thought you guys would agree.
No, because Kent's going to be like,
I know it won't win, but How to Train Your Dragon is such a good movie.
You can't pity vote first.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm just saying that's what happened. You pity voted first.
I know I did, and that was a mistake.
You really should stop pity voting in general.
The voice acting, the dialogue, and the messages in How to Train Your Dragon.
Hey, Zach, what was your intro?
Yeah, I got to go with Willy Wonka. And the
Okay,
Chocolate
that's
Factory.
fine. I'm actually really happy that How to Train Your Dragon moved this far.
If I was collectively looking at How to Train Your Dragon as a trilogy, maybe it would have a leg up.
Two's my favorite.
But
well, I like how we like the sequels more now.
I grew up on Willy Wonka. I still love it. I've showed it to my kids recently. They love it. Like it's a classic. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory moves on. All right, now we have The Princess Bride versus The Incredibles. These are I'm not
this
kidding.
Is easy.
These are 2 of my top 5 movies of all time.
Princess Bride. But hold on.
Okay,
is
what?
Princess Bride Back to the Future? Is it a film of films? Because it is a genre crosser.
I think it could be. Now, we should clarify that certain movies that were submitted did not make it to this family film of family films because they advanced pretty far on a previous bracket.
Emperor's New
However,
Groove.
and Shrek 2, going far on this bracket or any other bracket does not preclude something from being on our film of films.
Okay, and I think still it is a film of films, but I think Princess Bride is primarily a family movie. I think it's
as
good for
opposed to
everyone.
Incredibles, which is what?
I think it's going to be dated pretty soon.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm voting for Princess Bride.
Okay.
But I think Incredibles is a family movie to a T.
Yeah.
But Princess Bride is such a appeal to everyone type of movie. Fencing, fighting, revenge, miracles. It's all there.
I love The Incredibles, but I love The Princess Bride more. So Princess Bride moves on.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable.
And I will say that was a hard matchup for my personal, my family. And growing up, we both love both of these movies. We quote them all the time. But,
I just saw.
Oh, geez. The Renaissance matchup here. I'm glad they went against each other. This is The Lion King versus Aladdin.
These are two, like, this may be my top
And
two.
just looking ahead, the next matchup is The Wizard of Oz versus Beauty and the Beast. So we could have 2 Renaissance matchups, potentially.
My goodness. So Lion King is considered the classic, but I enjoy Aladdin so much more.
I think it's more considered the pinnacle. Right,
okay,
because
okay,
it was
on.
the build-up.
Is Beauty and the Beast not?
Well, it's because think about
another time.
We
Is the
started.
Little Mermaid, not the pinnacle.
Yeah.
We started with the Little Mermaid, right? That
Sure.
began the Renaissance. Then it was Beauty and the Beast, right? Then Aladdin, then The Lion King. I think Lion King to me feels like the culmination of everything that Disney was doing right at that time. I've always liked Aladdin just for pleasant watching a little better because Lion King is heavier than Aladdin.
I am looking at both these. These are both 5-star movies for me. So I am stepping back emotionally and looking objectively.
Okay.
Objectively, Lion King, higher box office, higher IMDb rating, more Academy Award nominations, fewer 90s references. I have to go with The Lion King.
Ranker gives The Lion King a number 3 and Aladdin a number 5. Flick Chart, which is also kind of like Ranker, though a little bit older, gives Lion King number 4 and Aladdin number 17.
I think Lion King is considered the animation king. It really is. I think
feel like
Aladdin's
I
more
kind of
fun.
hate Lion King now, though, because of the remake, even though it still is a great film.
I've still never seen it.
Good.
By the way, Aladdin is I think the only number from a Disney feature film to earn a Grammy Award for Song of the Year for A Whole New World. Like it got that's a huge accomplishment. I don't want to downplay Aladdin because I love it, but yeah, I've objectively voted for The Lion King.
What do you sing more? The songs in Aladdin or songs in Lion King?
Truth be told, probably Lion King.
Really?
I can't tell you how many times I've held up an animal or a child and started singing Circle of Life.
Every day I sing Riff Raff Street Rap.
Yeah, Aladdin songs are more in my range. But just can't wait to be King's fun.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, I actually reference, and this might be it. I reference Lion King all the time whenever my 2 cats fight.
Scar, help me, brother.
And then I see the slow motion
Robin
fight
Williams
at the end.
Only got $75,000 for Aladdin.
Ridiculous.
Because he was apparently very happy with Touchstone and his success with Good Morning Vietnam. So he decided to just go for Screen Actors Guild pay scale.
And then they had a huge falling out, and Dan Castellanetto, the voice of Homer Simpson, was in the direct-to-video sequel.
Well, it's because he said he was going to take a lower pay cut because he said he didn't want his name or image used for marketing and his supporting character not take up more than 25% of the advertising artwork. And Disney kind of went, yeah, we're going to do that anyway. And used his voice, used his face. And
arguably broke voice acting forever.
I'm going to give it to Lion King because of the tragedy in the movie. I think that taught a lot of kids about tragedy.
Yeah, and how to
run away from it.
Oh, when they put the bird on the birdie boiler. Yeah, Zazu. They put him on that volcano thing and shoots him up.
That's the part.
That's the tragedy.
That's it.
So the Lion King moves on.
I think it does.
I'm okay with that. Lion King moves forward. Now we have The Wizard of Oz versus Beauty and the Beast. Both I think have had, even though obviously The Wizard of Oz is much older, both have had plenty of time to establish firm legacies in the genre and in movie history in general.
These have both been selected for the Library of Congress for being like certain films are selected as like we need to save this and preserve it, and these are both in the National Film Registry.
Beauty and the Beast also in the realm of those Disney animated movies that I think oftentimes on the heavier side.
I think Beauty and the Beast is classic Disney, the princess story that we all know and love. Mm-hmm. And I think even though it's a love story, there's so much happening in the movie that younger boys can enjoy it.
I as a young boy, when this came out, I actually had a unconscious bias against it. I didn't watch it for years and years and years because it was the movie that had a rose on it.
But it's got Belle.
What?
It has
Belle.
Right. It was just the case. It was
on.
literally the classic, plastic white case had a rose on it, and I was like, "That's a girl movie. I don't want to watch it." It was dumb. It was dumb, but it
that's
was a
marketing.
thing that
That's what it's
happened.
all about. Yeah,
I didn't feel. Again, I grew up in the 90s. It was very gender biased and everything. But I didn't feel like that was supposed to be a movie for me. And then I watched it and went, "This movie rocks." I personally think that Gaston and Beast are the same. I don't know why we say that Gaston is a bad guy and Beast is a good guy. They're the same.
Wait a
more
minute,
hair.
that's a full show.
I know. Gaston says every last inch of it is covered with hair. Look at the Beast. All right.
Yeah, the Beast is just as
hair.
terrible. He just the Gaston just doesn't get a chance at redemption like the Beast does.
Wow.
Ooh, that's deep, Zach.
Just saying. No, I think that it's a layered movie. It's an interesting movie. It's a beautiful movie still. I wonder if The Wizard of Oz gets credit for the longevity and what it meant to general movie making. Zach test on the shelf. I think I'm going to pick Beauty and the Beast more often. I think the kids are going to enjoy Beauty and the Beast more often. Family movie night, Beauty and the Beast is going to go over a little bit better. We're not going to ignore Wizard of Oz. It's going to happen, maybe 2 weeks later on movie night, but I would go for Beauty and the Beast first. Therefore, I will vote for it.
Joel, what'd you say?
Will we still be talking about Beauty and the Beast here 50 years in the future? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We will.
But which version?
Well, everyone
they made a live action, didn't they?
Everyone was so up in arms about the 2017 remake because of how much this movie means to them.
Mm-hmm.
But think about that. Wizard of Oz has never been remade.
Because why?
Exactly.
Because nobody cares about the franchise.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about the property.
I am voting for the Wizard of Oz.
Well, I should say that, no, it has been spiritually remade with the Broadway smash hit.
The Muppets
Wicked.
also have a version.
Oh, no, everyone has a version, but no one's really tried to remake Wizard of Oz.
How interesting that property hasn't.
I mean, they had the Oz the Great and Powerful.
I think because of Wicked. There's no reason to other than because of Wicked. Well, and it's finally, how many 15, 20 years later becoming a movie.
But I just think of the wonderful world of Oz and the colors and how they the music.
But on the opposite end, there have been countless versions, even a weird 1980s TV version with Ron Perlman of Beauty and the Beast, right? Mm-hmm. The story had been told, and then it was told by Disney. And they did something amazing, where in the very first few moments, you're like, what am I watching? This feels like you're being transported to a magical place.
Mm-hmm. There's a musical cue that came on the other. It was a classical music, and it came on, and it was that swirling music, and I went, that's Beauty and the Beast.
Alan Menken's best work, and he did a lot of good work. I mean, he's still doing work, but it's so good.
I'm sorry, but it's Beauty and the Beast. Is that okay?
I'm not as offended at that as your other ridiculous and stupid decisions this evening.
There we go.
It's painful, and I hate that we're cutting out a classic of cinema.
Yeah, that's a legend.
And we're going to have a bigger battle next, Kent, so thank you for that.
You've also made it more painful for the final four.
Not a bit of him scraggly or scrawny.
That's right. And every last inch of me's covered with hair.
All right, moving to the final four, our first matchup. We have
Wait, what are the final four?
The final four, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, The Princess Bride, The Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast. All of these movies I grew up with and love. I for the record, would be pleased as punch if any of these won. I mean, this is
they will. So, yay!
One of them will win. Yay!
Yeesh.
Okay, first matchup: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory versus The Princess Bride.
By the way, question for you guys.
Yeah,
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Where is it set? England or America?
Vague England.
England for sure.
Because of the
you sure about that?
The candy shop feels very British.
Yeah, and them sleeping in the same
American.
beds like the.
Willy Wonka's American.
Hold on, though. But the living situation, everything, the media, it all feels very British.
It's the town more than the people.
It's intentionally made as a hybrid.
Is it really? Okay.
But it was actually filmed in Munich. Fun fact.
Munich.
Yeah. I was going to say Roald Dahl did not like this adaptation of Willy Wonka.
Roald Dahl never liked an adaptation of anything, if I recall.
True. And about a third of the props in the chocolate room were edible. And then you get Princess Bride. Princess Bride...
When you were a kid and you watched the As You Wish portion of the movie, were you like, what is this?
I wonder if Willy Wonka...
Did you like that? The love story, the beginning? The beginning when it's like the farm boy.
I was taking notes being
farm boy.
Okay.
Oh, no wonder you were so good with girls.
Say As You Wish to the ladies.
I wonder if Willy Wonka has a little bit more of an accessibility as far as age range goes.
Go on. Because everyone likes candy?
Maybe there's a visual spectacle for the younger family members. There's nostalgia for the older family members.
But
whereas I wonder if Princess Bride narrows itself a little bit more.
Does the final third of Willy Wonka kind of ruin the movie?
Tell me about what happens. I forget.
The gobstopper part. I guess there's the bubbles. The Charlie losing.
This is all. Why would that
Mike TV?
That's all the movie is.
I think that the last third is kind of forgettable.
No.
I just think that
the journey becomes because most kids are gone by that point.
The first third is more forgettable than the last two thirds because maybe the factory.
Maybe the middle of the movie is the only good part.
I think it sets a visual high bar early on and a creative high bar, and it just continues. It's like when you go to a comedy show that's really funny and you're enjoying it, but you're just kind of tired from laughing. So maybe you're a little quieter.
Escalating to even better.
Yeah, it's good.
Guys,
it's consistently good and interesting the whole time.
Princess Bride. Yeah, Princess Bride has everything. It's everything.
Who can take a rainbow?
All right.
Sprinkle it with dew. The Princess Bride can't, because that's what I'm voting for.
Whoa! I'm shocked.
And I thought about it because watching Willy Wonka again, there is no Cheer Up Charlie in The Princess Bride.
No.
Well, there's not a lot of music like in The Princess Bride.
I like that your arguments, because you like all these movies, but it's practically perfect in every way, but not perfect.
Your attention might drift a little bit in Princess Bride, but there's not like avoidable moments.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Zach, what would you vote for?
Princess Bride.
Okay, there you go.
Close. The Princess Bride moves on.
Wesley, what about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
And then
Disney battle.
The Lion King versus Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
That quick.
I'm always going to think fondly of this movie. I think it is straight up magical. I think there's some bad animation in The Lion King and some songs I don't love.
Bad animation?
Yeah.
What?
I know. I think Can You Feel the Love Tonight is not my favorite of those love epics of the 90s. I think Beauty and the Beast is still magical. The scene where they come down on the stairs and she's wearing the dress and he's finally a gentleman beast, and then they dance and it kind of becomes this CG animated big ballroom scene. I'll tell you when you're older.
I heard what you said earlier, Joel, about a Lion King having fewer 90s references, but it does still. I mean, that Can You Feel the Love Tonight is very 90s R&B flavor. It's very of its time.
Think so?
Yeah, I do. I don't like the genre.
Zach, do you have a vote here?
I think Beauty and the Beast is a little more timeless, but I think I generally like Lion King a little bit less than the general consensus, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. We've watched it many times in my household. We've probably watched Lion King more. I like Beauty and the Beast better as a movie, so maybe that goes to the film of films versus family movie of family movies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think Beauty and the Beast is such a fantastic all-around package of a movie.
But I think it's everything that Disney did previously so well perfected.
I think there might be that age accessibility thing again. I think The Lion King might be a little bit more of a broad appeal to the younger kiddos.
Except for the side characters, because it's household items.
Timon and Pumbaa.
They don't even know what a candlestick is.
They will after that movie.
But
it makes sense.
Consider, you're a young kid, and right up front they hit you with Just Can't Wait to Be King. What a fun number.
Well, they hit you right at the beginning. The Circle of Life. That opening scene is amazing.
And then
Bambi
both
Part 2.
the kids and every parent who's ever watched that movie with their kid, when Simba comes in right at the beginning, goes, Dad, 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 Dad. The parents watching turn to their kids and go, that's you. It's a universal experience.
So what are you voting for?
I need success. That's too expensive.
There must be more than this provincial life. What do you think, Joel? I don't know.
Okay, I'll go. Because I'm debating this over in my head over and over again, and this is the only argument that I can come up with.
Think about what's the better finalist too.
The Lion King is the king.
That's the thing, is I love The Lion King.
Yeah.
But there is no Mufasa moment in Beauty and the Beast. There is no moment that is going to horribly traumatize kids and make them not want to watch the movie again.
So you think that's off-putting?
You think the death is more of a one-time watch sort of thing?
I think some children may be like, that. I didn't like that part.
Oh.
And I don't know. I don't know. That's how we're supposed to be voting.
No,
honestly, at this point, I have no other argument than I'm just thinking about Beauty and the Beast.
No, I get it.
And it is just the whole time. There's a little bit of stress, a little bit of tension, a little bit of blood. Honestly, when he gets stabbed.
Both of them have Hans Gruber moments.
Both of them have Hans Gruber moments of the falling villain.
Yeah. But one's not traumatized. I don't think.
But I'm voting for Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I'm so traumatized that
I voted for Beauty and the Beast, Zach. I'm just getting it done.
Okay.
So, do you want to give the pity votes?
No, I actually think I really would have voted Beauty and the Beast eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast goes
on.
Fine. Then go ahead and start.
We knocked out the king.
I don't even know if that's a good argument.
Oh, we could have had a fun Joel matchup of the king and the princess.
Oh.
But instead, surprisingly, a podcast of 3 adult men give you a final family film matchup of The Princess Bride versus Beauty and the Beast.
Listen, I was raised by 3 sisters, so that's my excuse.
I've never had a sister.
It was on our action film of action films bracket. It was submitted for our comedy of comedies, but we were like, I don't know if we should put it on there because
we were saving it.
We were saving it. And I feel like family film of family films is the genre it should win. This may not be a film of films, meaning it's not like, amazingly, critically acclaimed.
It will compete, though, for us for our heart votes, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a modest success. Budget was around $16 million. It made $30 million. So it made a profit, a small profit. But it has won the hearts of so many families around the world. I don't know if you guys remember the 2020 during COVID when they had the pandemic and they had a bunch of people film and create home movie versions of Princess Bride, and it was families doing it together, parents and children, spouses, siblings, all these people creating together because everyone loves this movie. This became, after the box office, became the cult classic, became the family film, or the film that all families would watch together
and quote together. But Joel, Disney.
But Disney
is the family company,
and
right?
I'm not saying it is not. I'm not saying it is not.
We have, in my opinion, the Disney film of Disney
I'm saying
films.
when you have a live action movie that can hold the attention of children just as good as an animated movie, it deserves to be the family film of family films.
But Disney at its all-time high.
You're
right. You're right. I think this is, I wouldn't even call it Princess Bride the little movie that could, because it's astoundingly good.
It is. And it is.
Oh, and Peter Falk is so good.
Oh, just think of him at the end.
Yeah.
Grandpa, you can come back and read it to me tomorrow? As you wish. Such a touching moment. I mean, you think of Robin Wright at the time, in her role as Buttercup. I think every little boy had a crush on Buttercup. And I think every boy wanted to be Wesley. I was Wesley for Halloween.
So Disney's great at what it does, or what it did, I will say, because not anymore. But does that almost work against it? Because, of course, kids will watch whatever's put in front of them, and cartoons are so easy to watch, right? So your kids would probably choose to watch Beauty and the Beast more than The Princess Bride, because cartoons are palatable.
But they feel like
does that make it better for families? Or does that just make it a movie that you can turn on and they'll watch and enjoy?
And I feel like that's just it. Is like when kids watch Princess Bride, they're not thinking, oh, I wish it was animated. They're like, I'm watching a grown-up movie. I'm an adult. Like they get that kind of older feeling because they're watching a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Complex movie than an animated movie. That being said, I think the story of Princess Bride is much more involved, much more comedic.
Filmmaking-wise,
I shouldn't say much more at this point because
Beauty and the Beast is a better film.
It's not as complex, I guess. There's a lot more going on and a lot more world building that's happening in Princess Bride. I shouldn't say a lot more, just more, because
I know it hurts to say, and that's fine.
But it's not a lot more. These are like neck and neck for me. But I want to put this out there because we have seen the Princess Bride try again and again to get in a bracket, and it kept getting like, well, we don't know where this fits in. This is where it fits in.
Zach,
this is where I make my stand.
Quiet.
I love both these movies.
Yeah, no, they're amazing.
They're both good.
I think there's an obvious Baconsale choice.
There is,
and I think
if we were really being more in touch with our child, our inner child, this would be Paddington 2 versus The Lion King. I think kids are going to gravitate more toward Beauty and the Beast. But
this isn't kid film of kid
my
films.
Family. It's all I can go off is my experience. My family. We quote Princess Bride all the time. We will quote Princess Bride all the time. Then this is one of the most important movies for me. I broke my collarbone in 2016, and I was in a lot of pain. And thankfully, my mommy was there, and she had her iPad with her, and she played for me one of the only movies that she had loaded on her iPad, The Princess Bride. And that made me feel better when I had a boo-boo on my collarbone.
Oh, that was really sweet.
I was 26 years old.
That's very sweet. So is that your vote, Zach?
I think it is.
Beauty and the Beast is a masterpiece.
It is. It truly is.
I'm just trying to think from my kids' perspective, from the eyes of the children, in addition to the teens and the adults. I think the adults, you got both are going to be happy, but specifically adults who were younger when Beauty and the Beast came out. They're going to love it because of the nostalgia, but I think it's just generally a good movie for all ages. I worry about the younger kiddos with The Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm. With the shrieking eels and the RUSs?
Well, just general lack of attention at a certain point.
Okay. I think the danger actually works in its benefit. I think that the thrills are fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I have no problem with thrills in family films.
I think the thrills are light and balanced well and made fun.
It's hard, right? Because I think as a kid in your film education, I think you're actually more educated as a kid based on what you're seeing by The Princess Bride. I think Beauty and the Beast you watch as a Disney cartoon, and you may not even discover how well it's made until a little bit later. But
So
Princess
well
Bride, you immediately go, this is something different. And a movie has never been made like that again. Have you guys officially voted?
Oh, absolutely, I did.
And you went Princess Bride?
Yes.
Oh, that was like a half hour ago. Okay.
That was my speech. It was about a half hour long, and I planted that flag.
Zach?
So it's you two now who have to make the decision.
Listen,
Joel,
I'll make it. Do you want to make it easy?
Joel,
Guys,
you
hey,
convincing flag.
how about we do this together as a family? A Baconsale family.
As you wish.
Did Vin Diesel get hit?
Oh! Kid?
As you wish. Zach?
Say it.
The first triple finger boop.
Yeah! As you wish.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
With that, The Princess Bride is your winner.
That's such
of
a
the
Baconsale
family
choice.
film of family films. We are who we are.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I just looked it up here because we had it hidden on the bracket or the submission form. We didn't want to have any bias in that way. And the winner of the family film of family films bracket that Baconsale has just done is Chris Anderson.
Chris,
Hey,
the one,
Chris,
the
way to
only
go.
Chris Anderson.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good pick.
So congratulations, Chris. We'll be reaching out to you to get you some Baconsale merch. And thank you to everyone who submitted a movie for this bracket. This was a painful one to do.
Oh, my word. My wife submitted Paddington 2. Let's go back to that choice. So
She can't win again, Zach.
Paddington 2.
Yeah. No, thank you for all of you who submitted. And thank you for playing along at home. Let us know on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on all the social media channels. Let us know if you think we picked the right member of this family film of family films with The Princess Bride. We had some pain doing it, and honestly, I think I could have gone either way. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a right choice for Baconsale, if I do so.
I think we're ending on a very positive note, which is great because we had a real low here.
Yeah, did you guys? I watched the fight.
Well, we're good. We're good now.
That one or the other one?
We're okay.
How come I'm always in the middle of fights?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
He's a very passionate person, Joel Hilton.
I am sometimes. And these were all like movies from my childhood and growing up and now.
I think that's where the passion comes from.
These are all what I would consider classics.
We grew up with these. We all love these. Watch them all. They're great. Before we go, we want to thank some patrons in a couple of categories, including the Eye on the Listener tier, which is Ryan and Marley, Lady Terry A. Finley, Jennifer Kilkowski, That Silly Snowman, Once They Come to Life, They Don't Know Nothing, Scott Sprague, Adam and Rachel Crump, Sir and Madam Hicks, Rocky and Steph, Andrew is literally Ryan Gosling, Juice the Cooler King Swallow, Dave Kelly, Taylor Sanderson, Angela Plotz, Casey Cummings, and Briggs is off to preach the good word. Then we have our Bacon Council, which includes Nicole D. Kale, the one, the only Chris Anderson, winner of this challenge. Well, that's pretty cool. Stephen, everyone's favorite Ross, our favorite couple, the Madsons, Her Royal Highness Jessica Terry, Star Wars expert Kyler, Glow Clendaniel, the other Brit Johnny English, Debbie Foster, and Beaker.
Thank you, patrons. You are the goo to our knees.
Ew, you got goo on your knees?
Looked at.
You know, when I do dances and musicals, I get sweaty knees.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter. You can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform at the Midvale Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kenny3DD. You can read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
And if you want to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. Please like that Facebook page and then go to at Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. When you're done with that, go to tpublic.com/Baconsale. Get yourself some merch. We love to see it. They make, wonderful gifts for any time of the year. And then if you like what's going on here and you want to support us further, visit patreon.com/Baconsale. Support starts at just $3 a month. You can get all sorts of benefits, including our long-winded, completely manic,
little ranty
feelings about everything.
Yeah. Everything.
Patreon.com/Baconsale. So until next time, bye-bye, listener. Have fun storming the castle.
Do you think the listener will agree with us?
It'll take a miracle.
Goodbye.
Oh, baby, your cord gets tripped and it doesn't just pop right out free.
Listen.
Welcome to the world. Stop! I don't like that joke.
We all know the words because it haunts our dreams. But the death in Harry Potter is apparent. It actually happens. You have to see it.
Two parents, actually.
But it's kid-friendly torture. I don't know.
It is like being punched in the face by a party of 7-year-olds. The little kids love it. The big kids love it. The dads love it. The moms put up with it. I don't think Homeward Bound has catchy enough songs. And what do you do when you have to deal with the bad dreams from the monkeys? Why has Diana King
doesn't age either.
Always been a 74-year-old fox? Why has Dame Maggie Smith always been a 94-year-old fox?
Yeah.
I'm more attracted to Michael Keaton than I am Diane Keaton. Ah! Did you have friends growing up?
No, and they never let me play baseball. Well, oh, this makes sense.
Hey, did you just compare Paddington 2 to Chick-fil-A?
I've never felt more rage fire in my life.
I know.
Where chickens getting their heads cut off
in the tunnel.
He's voting out of spite.
Yeah,
it's your fault, kid.
Mr. Rogers would be ashamed of Home Alone.
Because real people are flying up in the bubbles against time.
Hamlet versus Nazis.
Well, I know it won't win, but How to Train Your Dragon is such a good movie.
Scar,
help me, brother.
Hey, stop stealing my stuff.
And that made me feel better when I had a boo-boo on my collarbone.
American Tail is not on this list.